Welcome, race fans, to Ohsweken Speedway for the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals here on G-Force TV. I'm Greg Kellman, with me Adam Ross. Tommy Googe joining us in the tower tonight, but he's down trackside right now with our Clinton Jeffrey as well. So we have our opening ceremonies, giving away some prizes to some of the different drivers, the quickest drivers and best-looking cars down there. Let's send it down trackside to our Clinton Jeffrey.
Well, thanks, guys. We get ready to go. We'll bring in Tommy Gooch here, who is one of our coordinators here with the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. Tommy, take it away with Darren Dryden, our best appearing.
Thank you, Clinton. And first time down here tonight for the inaugural Canadian Crate Sprint Car Nationals. And we, along with the Crate Sprint Car Nationals, we got a few special awards, just like the big nationals tomorrow night. So first up is the Bill Pierre Memorial Best Appearing Car Award, sponsored by Corpac Merchandising. And I know you take a lot of pride in this car, so it's got to mean a lot for them for the committee down there to pick your car as the best appearing tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Obviously, for those who don't know, I actually do the design, print, and install for the wrap here, and along with Seb Rancourt, my employee, helping out as well. So got to also, thank Corpac Merchandising for putting up this this award here. And yeah, it's honestly it's amazing to be able to get this after all the work we put in, and make sure that we're the best looking car each and every week.
He's got 4 feature wins here this year, so he's quick too. Keep an eye out for Darren Dryden, $350 in his pocket, courtesy of Corpac Merchandising. Put your hands together for him. Next up, we got Brett Stratford, our quickest qualifier here tonight. And Quick presenting the fastest qualifier award. $300 going in your pocket for time trialing quickest. Not something you guys get to do all that often, so kind of fun out there.
No, it's actually something I don't generally like either. I normally kind of, I don't want to say the word, but I do something to the bed every time I'm by myself out on the track. So.
Well, a little bit of money in your pockets, that's got to feel good. You're going to start 4th in the heat race and work for some passing points.
Yeah, that I like. I definitely need the money because clearly we don't have any help with this car, and we're pretty much broke. So definitely need that. Whoever donated that, thank you very much.
Quick sponsoring that one. So put some money in Brett Stratford's pocket. Put your hands together for Brett Stratford, quickest in time trials here tonight for the Action Sprint Tour. And we'll head over, last but not least, we'll talk to Matthew Bardier. And Matthew, all the way from Pierreville, Quebec. How long did it take you to get here?
From here, it's 9 hours from drive. It's long, but for racing here, it's an unbelievable crowd, unbelievable place. It's wonderful. 9 hours, it's nothing about that.
So we're talking to Matthew right now because you won the Traverse Roots Long Haul Award tonight, 9 hours. And we're going to put some money in your pocket, courtesy, oh, the sign just fell down. Courtesy of Nitro 54 variety for the longest haul. And I believe $250 coming your way, so that'll help with the fuel bill at least.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful. You are the best fans, sprint car fans here. It's unbelievable, and I would like to thank all my sponsors. Guy make hard work on the car, all my teams, family, and my friends look at home at GForce.tv. It's perfect, and thank you very much.
There he is, Matthew Bardi. 9 hours to get here. Put your hands together for him.
Thanks a lot, Tommy Gooch. Well, guys, we're ready to go racing. It's just about time. Adam, Greg, good to have you guys back. Long weekend coming up here. 2 nights of awesome action, and we're just about ready to go. We'll get the pictures done with Bargy and bring out our first qualifying heat of the night.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy night. 2 divisions, though, on the card, and we'll kick things off with the Action Sprint Tour with their 10-lap heats, and that's for the Canadian Crate Nationals, and then we'll go with the Knights of Thunder with their 12-lap, make that 8-lap heats as well, and then we'll go into our B mains for both divisions. We'll have a pole dash for the Action Sprint Tour. A mains, Knights of Thunder will go up first, 25 laps for them, and then 30 tonight for the crate sprints in the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals. Huge night of racing for these crate drivers on a big stage for them.
30 laps with 30 cars, the Crate Sprint Car Nationals. And, I mean, we always assume, Greg, we're getting a bigger and bigger audience all the time, which we greatly appreciate. We should explain. The crate part of a crate sprint car is the engine comes from GMC right out of a crate. Take it out of the box, drop it in the race car. There's a couple of changes that need to be made to upfit it for a sprint car, but that's the difference. Otherwise, the crate sprint cars are exactly the same car, tire, wing, configuration as their bigger brothers, the 360 cubic inch 360 sprint cars, which put out a ton of horsepower, more speed, but this is the proving ground for sure, and that's the way it's been for a number of years, drawing drivers from so many different forms of racing who want to come in and compete against the best drivers out there.
And there's 43 of them here tonight for this inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals event, so a great field of cars. 33 here with the 360 sprint cars as well, so plenty of winged things to watch here tonight at the Big O. We've got a video board over there between 3 and 4 tonight, so you'll be able to catch some of the replays on that for those that are in attendance, and a great view there from the VIP suite, I'm sure, to catch that screen over there as well. There it is, where we see the screen within the screen within the screen within the screen.
And to set your minds at ease, Greg and I, our images will not appear on that big screen. We are better heard than seen.
I'm not even sure if we're better heard
than
anything.
I was gonna close it out and say that, Greg, but I thought, Greg will pick it up. He'll drive it home.
Did you send Spencer a picture of our cake that we received tonight?
I think I put it in.
We'll have to get that on. That's a real cake, Spencer. We received a cake here. As the Caledonia Fair is coming up not too long from now, and it's the Thursday, September 29th through October the 2nd. We'll talk about that more over the next couple of nights, but the ladies brought us a cake, and it's got a race car on it, and we'll wait until Spencer shows it on the screen. But they were nice enough, because we were talking about cake last week, and they said, well, perfect. We'll bring Adam and Greg a cake. So there's one problem, though. Darren noticed this. There's no knife. There's forks, but no knife. So it's going to be a sloppy cut here. I mean, how hard is it to cut in half? Really,
it'll be a slobber knocker. A feeding frenzy in the Dutch oven tonight.
Oh, my.
All right, it is time to go racing with the crate sprint cars. Ladies and gentlemen, here is how they will line up. And tonight's safe word is brought to you by delicious cake from the Caledonia Fair. Starting on the pole, out of Rockwood, Ontario. I think we have enough Ontario drivers that we're only going to name the province for Heat 3 and 4. Otherwise, just a lot of Ontario. On the pole, out of Rockwood in the number 94, it's Ryan Fraser. Outside of row 1 from Alexandria, the 51L is Lee Ladassour. Starting third from Waterloo, the 19D is Alan Downey. And back in a familiar number 52 from St. Thomas, it's Jesse Costa. Starting fifth from Rockwood, the 74 is Rob Neely. Starting sixth from Ohsweken, the 9C is Brian Nanticoke. Starting seventh in the 45 from Thamesford, Curtis Gartley. Alongside him, also from Thamesford, the 14 is Larry Gledhill. Starting ninth from Ancaster, the 26X is Terry Baker. Out of Kitchener, the number 2 is Travis Hofstetter. And rounding out the field from Ohsweken, the 21 is Braden Burning. That's how they'll line up for heat race number 1, and it is going to light up off of turn number 4 next time by, and we will be underway with our first race of the Canadian Crate Sprint Car Nationals. Greg, go ahead, sorry.
No, Ryan Fraser and Lee Ladassour on the front row. West versus East already in this first qualifying heat. Jesse Costa, good to see him in that number 52, his own ride. Let's see what he can do tonight. He was quick this evening in time trials. Green flag goes up in the air for heat race number 1.
Ladisur gets a better launch up on the high side. He'll lead the way out of turn number 2. Here comes Jesse Costa. The 52 machine, high, wide, and handsome, closing in on our race leader, Ladisur.
Ladisur into corner number 1. He has got Costa hot on his heels. Fraser's tucked back into the 3rd spot. Then it's Nanticoke and Larry Gledhill 4th and 5th. Here's the battle for the lead. Costa down to the inside of Ladisur.
Costa has a look, can't make it stick. Ladisur a little bit lower on the racetrack. Jesse Costa up on the high side. He'll drive it into turn number 3, slide up to the cushion, but Ladisur is just making great forward bite.
Here comes Costa on that outside line now off of corner number 2. Gets a good run down the backstretch. Ladisur sliced up in front of him. Here comes Costa around the outside off of 4. At the line, though, Ladisur continues to lead. 4 on the board. Still 6 to go. Longer laps here in these qualifying heats.
Ladisur with very little experience here at the Big O. Exploring a couple different lines. He drove a little bit lower that time in 3 and 4. Same thing down in 1 and 2. Let's see if it's going to bite him, but he's getting such good drive off the corner. Costa's faster through the center, Greg, but he can't get close enough to make a move.
Cross the line, lap number 6 goes on the board of 10 here in this first qualifying heat. Costa's got another good run off of 2. He'll close right up on the tail tank. As they roll through corner number 3, does Costa have anything on the outside of 4 this time?
He's got a great run is what he's got. About a foot off the tail tank of Ladisur. He drives it into 1 and 2, and still it keeps coming off the corner. Less than a car length from the 51, but not close enough to assert himself and take the line.
2 laps left to go for Ladisur. Costa all over here's his rear tail tank. There's a work off of corner number 2. Down the back stretch another time. Costa closing in. They'll come to the white flag. He's got a good run through 3 and 4.
He got a little bit tight there in the middle of the corner, but the best run he's had so far. Looks to the inside in 1 and 2, but has to pinch it off.
And after this is going on, we've got a great battle for the 3rd spot. Gledhill, Fraser, and Alan Downing as we come to the checkered flag at the line. Ladisur will pick up the win over Costa. 3rd at the line is going to be Larry Gledhill by a nose over Fraser. Then it's Downey, Neely, Nanticoke, Gartley, and then the 26X of Baker, Travis Hofstetter, and the 21 of Braden Burning.
Tommy Gooch, can you talk to us about the qualifying procedure? Normally on a Friday night, you run your heats. If you finish in the top 6, you're in the show.
Yep, top 6 still.
So it's still the top 6, but they go to a passing point format.
Passing points, and so the time trials, they invert the top 4 in each heat race. So Jesse Costa started 4th in that one, made his way up to 2nd, so he's earned some passing points. Top 6 transferred, so
the reason I asked that, but let's go to Clinton Jeffrey, who's going to do a Case IH track report in turn number 3.
I was going to let you finish your question, Adam, when we get back to that. Yeah, I want to thank everybody from Case IH for the amazing track conditions we've got here. As you can see, the track is very smooth. We've wheel packed it, so every one of these drivers during warm-ups to put heat in their motors had to take 3 slow laps around here. It's going to give us a great surface. You can see not a lot of the chunk we saw last week up here, guys. We're going to have a great surface. That's your Case IH track report to get going here at the Canadian Crate Nationals.
I still want to know what lighting is on that infield camera, Greg, that makes Clint look that good. He's not that good looking.
It's the Fast Eddie Racewear is what it is.
That's it. Good call.
There you go. Just got a note here from Marion. A gentleman was up here in the tower. A bag, a seat, and a coat all went missing from Section G. He went down to the concessionary, came back, and it was all gone. So if anyone has found a bag, a seat, and a coat from Section G, could you please return that to the front gate? This gentleman would greatly appreciate that. Adam, will send it over to you for the starting lineup for heat race number 2. We'll bring in Tommy Gooch for the call with you on this one.
And if anybody took that seat and cushion that was down in Section G and you don't return it, I hope a rock the size of a volleyball goes through your windshield on the way home and doesn't hit you or anyone in the car, just lands between you so everyone's safe, but you just have a really stiff wind for the rest of your drive home. Mike Bowman on the pole in the 71. The 29W is Tyler Ward. Lance Erskine in the 88. The 31 is Dale Curran. Jonah Mutton in the 39. The 16R is Seth Roy. 99 of Joshua Hill. The 08 is Stephen Beckett. 52B of Matt Billings, the 2C of John Cadman, and the 69K of Ken Hamilton.
So we'll keep an eye on Dale Curran here, the 31 car, the fastest car in time trials in this heat race. He's up into the third spot after starting fourth, but Bowman up front. A couple of feature wins here at Ohsweken this year. He's going to be tough to beat starting on the pole.
He certainly will be, but I'll tell you, Dale Curran, off the experience that comes with racing open-wheel sprint cars wingless out in Ventura, California, that's got to give you some confidence and a great deal of nerve.
Curran's definitely been noticeably faster since he came back from that experience, but right now noticeably faster is Tyler Ward, really making a good run on the outside, coming through corner 4, trying to challenge Bowman for the lead.
Ward giving that 29W a great drive, keeping the pressure on Mike Bowman. He loses a little bit of grip there off of the second turn, loses a couple of car lengths, but Tyler Ward still in the battle.
So track starting to slick off a little bit now as we get into the second heat race. Lap times not quite as quick in this one as they were in heat race number 1. Bowman still leads, second is Ward. Third is Corin, fourth is Seth Roy, fifth is Erskine, and holding that sixth and final transfer is Jonah Mutton in the 39.
Have a look at the two drivers right behind Jonah Mutton, the 08 is Stephen Beckett, the 52 of Matt Billings, a couple of young charging racers out there. They would love to not have to run the B main, but out front it is all Mike Bowman. He is stretching out that advantage over Tyler Ward, but I'm still impressed with Tyler Ward holding a pretty wheel in second.
Yeah, Curran's starting to reel him in now a bit. Really surprising to see Billings back there out of a transfer spot right now. He finished second here at Ohsweken earlier this year. We expect him to be much quicker than he looks right now.
This sport will surprise you each and every night. Another pleasant surprise, Lance Erskine having a great run. He's had his struggles this season. Things have not gone his way. Good to see him in a transfer spot as we've got 2 laps to go. Mike Bowman might encounter some lap traffic here in this one.
Yeah, 10 lap pre-races tonight instead of the usual 8, so that makes a difference. As the white flag comes out now for Bowman, we'll keep an eye on that final transfer. Right now it's still Mutton, but Billings is on the move.
Billings is closing in as the white flag flies. Out in front, Mike Bowman's opened up nearly a full straightaway advantage. He's going to take this qualifying heat easily. Second, Dale Curran comes in for a slide job to take the second spot. Tyler Ward survives for third. Then it's Seth Roy, Lance Erskine, and Jonah Mutton hangs on for the final transfer.
Well, Dale Curran gained a few more passing points with that move, but I think he did not gain much favor with the Tyler Ward team off that move in turn 4 either.
No, and I'll tell you, that's what we call it. I don't want to say it's a dirty slider. It is a dirty slider. In wingless sprint cars, that is how you make passes, but it is so important. You have to clear the car you're trying to pass with your slide job, because the sliding part is you slide up in front of the car you're trying to pass. If you're not in front of them, it's a dirty slider.
Yeah, that was a wise move there by Ward to back out of it and let Curran have the spot. So they'll go back and maybe have a little discussion in the pits over that one afterwards.
Guys, just want to jump in about John Cadman, the number 2 car there. Bought that car from Lee Winger this afternoon. A super late model driver on the pavement side. Tried hot laps last night out and said, I'm addicted. I'm getting one and coming back. And here he is today.
Someone like John Cadman, Clinton, who races super late models on asphalt, you're in it for the thrill. As a super late model still gets your attention. I got to believe when he hit the throttle in one of these, he felt that thrill and he's ready to have some fun. Let's give you the starting lineup for heat race number 3. And let me be clear, I'm not saying Dale Curran's a dirty driver.
Yeah.
Dirty slider is kind of just an expression. As you learn your craft, as you get better at it, you learn how to turn those dirty sliders into a sweet move. On the pole out of Thamesford, the 7 is Eric Gladhill. Alongside him in the 12 Double D from Freelton is Darren Dryden. Starting third in the 5D from Port Colborne is Jacob Dykstra. Starting fourth from Waynfleet, the BS39 is Brett Stratford. Starting fifth from Waterdown, the 5C is Connor Mahoney. Starting sixth from Listowel, the 97 is Sheldon Bender. Starting seventh from Salmon Arm, British Columbia, the 26 is John Verney. Starting 8th from Six Nations, the 20 is Johnny Miller. Starting 9th from Dorchester, the 48 is Andrew Marshall. And rounding out the field from Ancaster, the 16X is Keegan Baker.
Very slow run up to the green flag there. Now they get underway. Our best appearing car on the front row, Darren Dryden, next to Gledhill in the 7th.
A lot of notables out here. Brett Stratford, who was on the front straightaway, receiving some accolades before this race. Jacob Dykstra, who has been the standout crate sprint car driver the last few seasons, in the 5D, running in the 4th spot.
Yeah, that is a stacked top 4 right there as Dryden tries to go to the outside on Gledhill into corner 3, trying to make that move work, but Gledhill's strong on the bottom.
To show you how much fun this division is, Sheldon Bender is running 6th in that white and black number 97. He could barely get out of his way earlier this season. Now he's out there in a transfer spot with some seasoned veterans trying to close in behind him. But out front, side by side, they race for the lead.
Still side by side are Gledhill and Dryden, but now Gledhill goes for a slide in corner 2. Dryden takes over the top spot. Stratford trying to run them both down, and Dykstra holding that 4th spot.
Yeah, a little surprised Jacob Dykstra hasn't been able to close in any more than he has, but he still runs back there in 4th with Brett Stratford. Oh, Stratford loses it in turn number 2. Disaster for the driver from Wainfleet. And he will be kicking himself right now. He just got a little bit hot in turn 2. Couldn't hang on to it, Tommy.
Yeah, we've seen a couple cars now get a little bit sideways up there in corner 2. Gledhill did it a couple laps ago, and that allowed Dryden to get the lead, and now Stratford does pretty much the same thing, but does go for a slide instead of hanging on to it.
Good job by the drivers behind to avoid. Great job by our camera crew getting a replay. Clinton Jeffrey, what do you got?
Yeah, nothing down here. Car looks all right. We talked to Brett a little bit after his awards on the front straight. He said, I came loaded for Pierre tonight. I want this one bad, and I think he wanted just a little bit too bad right there, guys.
The good news for Brett Stratford is this is a 12-lap heat. The bad news is, or sorry, shoot, what am I saying? An 8-lap heat.
10.
You know what?
Right in the middle there somewhere, Al.
You know, I think I just had a stroke.
Good news is it's a 10-lap heat for Brett Stratford.
Thank you. Tommy even held up 2 full hands of fingers to rescue me.
You didn't count the thumbs.
I didn't count the thumbs.
We're all thumbs sometimes.
The natural mistake.
Good news to the fine gentleman who lost his jacket, seat, and bag. It's down in the canteen area. So, sir, if you can make your way down to the canteen, we found all your items that were down in Section G. So go to the canteen, grab some Pinty's Delicious Foods, and get all your stuff down there. It's waiting for you.
If there was a person who displaced that equipment, I hope that rock just sails right on past your car and goes innocently into the ditch.
You know, it was pretty windy there earlier. I don't know what it's like out there now because I'm hiding up here in the booth with you guys, but
it's much windier in here.
True. It was really breezy out there earlier. I think it's calmed down a bit, but hopefully it was the breeze that did that and not someone else.
I wouldn't think it was. We've got great fans here. Honest mistakes.
Didn't sound like it earlier when you were. Oh yeah, we got great fans.
That was a hypothetical situation.
But you suspected maybe.
Yeah, great fans that he wants rocks to go through their windshields on the way home. Beautiful.
So we'll keep an eye on Stratford here from the back. He's quick in that 39, but this allows the Powless 77 car up into the final transfer for the moment.
Whoa, Gledhill. And Jacob Dykstra coming close there in turn number 2. If there wasn't contact, it was darn close to it.
Yeah, that was a little hairy up there, as that allows Johnny Miller and the Verney 26 car up into the fight for the final transfer, as Powless gives up that spot, side by side for that spot between Miller and Verney.
Who was it last week that said they thought they got hit and turned around between 1 and 2, but they actually didn't?
Adam Leslie.
That's exactly what Brett Stratford's car is doing in the middle of 1 and 2. There's a spot right there where the back end is just coming right around on him.
He's on the move, though. He's up right in that fight for the final transfer now. 3 laps to go to try to get it done. And Verney now tags him.
2 laps to go, and Brett Stratford's going to have to wind up that top again. He's almost racing for a good qualifying spot in the B feature now, or a good starting spot, rather.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. Going to be tough to get it done. Up front, it's all Darren Dryden now. Gledhill going after Dykstra for that second spot.
Back and forth. Connor Mahoney having a good run in that 5 machine. 5th, Sheldon Bender in the 97. And the Iceman, Johnny Miller, has that final transfer. Checkers come out for Darren Dryden. Dykstra 2nd. Gledhill 3rd. Connor Mahoney 4th. Sheldon Bender 5th. 6th to Johnny Miller.
We'll watch Stratford on this cool down lap. He's got to be hot in that 39 car.
Yeah, and I mean, only with himself, but it was bizarre. Greg, do you remember that happening to Adam Leslie? Right in that same spot.
Exact same spot that happened, and he felt like maybe he got turned around, and very similar. That corner 2 this year has been treacherous for a number of drivers, whether it's the outside of turn 2 or dead center in it. It's been a slippery spot.
Sure has been fun for me. I've just really enjoyed the challenge and watching what drivers handle it the best and what drivers struggle. Rolling onto the racetrack now is heat race number 4. On the pole from Brantford, the 49L is Lucas Smith. Starting 2nd from Georgetown, the 2M is Steve Murdock. Starting 3rd from Ancaster, the 51 is Trevor Young. Starting 4th from Pierreville, Quebec, the 19 is Matthew Bardier. 5th from Port Perry, the 4B is Daryl Peltier. 6th from Kitchener, the 50 LS is Adrian Staley. The rest of our starting lineup, 7th through 10th, all from Ohsweken. The MK8 is Matt Hill. The 77E is Ashton Van Every. The 28, Jordan Hill is on the starting lineup on our paperwork, but I believe it is Cameron Thompson behind the wheel of the 28, making his Crate Sprint Car debut. And rounding out the field in the 420, it's Victor Bomberry. So Cam Thompson getting the opportunity to drive his brother-in-law's race car. What could possibly go wrong there? But Cam Thompson, what an exciting kid. Lots of opportunity this year. He's raced on dirt. He's raced on pavement, getting the chance here. He's reached out to us. I think he's going to take the hobby car for a few laps. He just wants to drive race cars, Greg.
Well, Adam, if I can jump in your head, Greg, there's one thing that we need to remember about Cammy. He is one hell of a flagman, too. He'd be our choice for a flagger when we needed one. Doug called him and said, no, I'm going racing. Get Dave. So Dave's our guy now.
Here we go. Ready to go with the champ on the pole for this one, and there is no one more exciting in crate sprints than Lucas Smith, and he'll go from the pole alongside Steve Murdock.
Couple of drivers with a lot of racing they've done together on asphalt, not as much on the dirt, but Lucas Smith not getting a great start. Murdock jumps out to the lead. Smith going to try to take back second from Bardier in the 19.
Matthew Bardier at the line to the inside of Lucas Smith. Gets a good run down in corner number 1. Smith, though, winds it up on the outside of 2. He'll grab the second spot back with Staley watching this battle for that second position.
The key spot on the racetrack, Tommy, is that 6th and final transfer spot, which right now is held by Van Every in the 77E, as Trevor Young was back in 6th, but he just took over 5th.
Yeah, Trevor Young was quick in hot laps, quick in time trials as well, but he is feeling the pressure now from Van Every and Daryl Peltier. Up front, it's all Murdock in the 2, though, right now.
Van Every had an impressive weekend down at Brighton Speedway, picked up a heat race win, and I was told his nickname is the Beast, and I'll tell you what, he drove like that at Brighton over that weekend.
Yeah, he raced fearlessly down there. It was fun to watch. And like Tommy said earlier on, part of the reason our 360 racers doing so well, they've been forced to adapt to different racetracks. Good for Van Every, because he went down there and looked great.
Steve Murdock, look at this. He's ahead of 2 very strong guys, the champion here at Ohsweken and the champion down to the east of Brockville, Ontario Speedway. But the 2M is out in front, Tommy.
Yeah, Murdock looking very good in this one so far. Started up front and has managed to stay there behind those 2 champs. Behind them, still watching that battle for the final transfer as Peltier now moves up to 5th, puts Young back on the bubble in the 51.
Trevor Young is a perennial B main racer. And it's not because he's not good enough to be in the A. It just always seems something happens to put him back in the B that quite often is out of his control.
2 laps left to go for Murdock over Smith and Barjay in third. Then you've got Staley in fourth. Fifth is Pelche and Young in that sixth and final transfer position, with Ashton Van Every losing touch on that transfer spot.
So white flag in the air now. Murdock not going to encounter traffic before the end of this one. Everybody kind of strung out now. That final transfer not up for grabs, but Young still trying to gain some passing points on Darryl Pelche. Here comes Murdock. He'll get the win. Second is Smith. Third is Bardier. Fourth will be Staley. Fifth will be Pelche. And sixth in the final transfer is Trevor Young.
Murdock does a nice job beating out Smith and Barjay to pick up the heat race win, heat race number 4.
So just like that, the crate sprint heat races are done, and that looks like the Knights of Thunder 360s are getting ready over on the warm-up track.
Good to see Victor Bomberry back out in that 420 machine. He was having some fun at the tail of the field battling with Cam Thompson.
You mentioned souvenir programs on sale through the stands right now. We'll give away some prizes at intermission, so grab yourself a copy of that as we get ready for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars. With their first of 4 qualifying heats on the night. 8 laps will be the distance. 9 cars in this first qualifying heat. They'll line up like this. On the pole out of Wilsonville, in the 94X machine, that'll be Scott Hull.
Hey, yo.
Starting in second out of Ontario, New York, in the 45H, it's the Cobra, Chuck Hebing. Going off third from Scotland, Ontario, the 87X, it's Sean Evans. And to his outside from Picton in the 11J, Chris Jones. Also from Picton in the 5th starting position is Tyler Rand in the 84 machine. And rolling off in 6th from Grimsby, the 90, is Travis Cunningham. Starting in 7th from St. Williams in the 21 is John Burbridge Jr., and going from 8th, that's where we'll find DJ Christie out of Beachville in car number 5. Going from the 9th and final spot from here on Ohsweken, the 68 of Aaron Turkey. White flag displayed. Next time by, we'll go green flag racing. 8 laps the distance for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars. Jordan Poirier, Dale Goslin, winners for the Knights of Thunder down at Brighton Speedway.
I was unprepared for that throw, Greg, of Scott Hall. So
hey, you
I
still nailed it.
apologize.
You still nailed it. Here we go to the green flag. Scott Hall and the Cobra bring it down the front stretch.
Ebing with a good line up on the high side. Jones going to chase him through. Travis Cunningham in that black and silver number 90. He's been disappointed with his performance here this season. Hoping that the work they've done this week in the shop is going to show in results on the racetrack.
Oh, DJ Christie, Travis Cunningham, close call there, Tommy, up in 2.
Yeah, 3 wide there, and I thought Christie was going to get that turn 2 wall, but he managed to stay out of it. Up front, Hebing looks very strong in his return here after just one night so far this year.
And I'll tell you what, like you said, Adam, Chris Jones looks like the Chris Jones we were used to seeing in that 11J. Very stout in that second spot.
Looking back through the running order, ooh, that was close. Scott Hall and Aaron Turkey there. They both kind of entered turn 1 in the same patch of real estate. We're halfway through this one already. Chuck Ebing driving away from Chris Jones. He's looking good in second as well, but Travis Cunningham, that's as good as he's looked for a long time.
We'll keep an eye on the final transfer. Sean Evans tried to take it away from Scott Hall there and couldn't get it done in corner 2. He'll try again in corner 4. But Hall still holds that final transfer for the moment.
I'll tell you what, the last time we saw the Cobra here, he looked pretty average in that 45 machine, but he's got the Wilkins RV, a sprint car. Hall in the mail right now with 2 laps left to go. The Cobra down the backstretch will come to the white flag this time.
I don't know if we captured it, but Sean Evans threw a beautiful slide job on Scott Hall to take that spot. Tyler Rand putting out some smoke behind the 84, and yeah, he blowed up.
Rand slides to the infield. We'll see if the yellow comes out. A lot of smoke out of the 84 car.
Now checkers out. The Cobra will pick up the win over Chris Jones, and it's DJ Christie in the third spot over Travis Cunningham. Aaron Turkey in the fifth position, and Sean Evans in sixth, and Scott Hull seventh, eighth John Burbridge Jr., and Tyler Rand as we see over on the backstretch. We'll have a look at the replay of him coming down the backstretch. Whoa! Who's up in the camera there? Is that Jack? Oh, Jeremy.
Oh, and I misspoke earlier. 4 heats tonight, so top 5 will come out of the heat races, not top 6 for these. 24 cars starting the feature tonight, 30 tomorrow.
Well, guys, over here with the 84 of Tyler Rand, Tyler says not sure what's up with the car, guys. I don't see any fluid out the bottom of it. It looks all right for now, but slight bit of leak, and Tyler Rand just going to get shoved back so that he can just get pushed back to the pit area.
Clint, there almost had to be fluid. He started putting out more and more smoke on the backstretch, and then he...
Yeah, it got really slow down here, Adam, as it came down the back straightaway, and well, let's see what we got here. We got some remnants on the ground, and yeah, on the ground we got some oil here, so it is definitely spitting out some oil out the back of this car, Adam. So it not as much as you'd think if it blew up, but yeah, it will be a problem for them.
Hopefully an oil line came off.
Looks like you were standing there on a hot summer day.
You guys are tough. Well, I'll tell you what. Dave Hunsinger and I have our weigh-in tomorrow afternoon. We've been debating back and forth what will be allowed for apparel.
Across those scales?
That's the scales right there that we're going to stand on. Let's have another look. The big smoke you saw on the left side of the screen. Boy, if I had a telestrator, I could have shown you. Let me get my telesketcher out. I'll start to draw what happened there on the backstretch.
So there's the room of doom, and you're going to scale up on those scales right there.
You got it.
Wow.
And it's going to be throughout the entire off season. There's going to be a lot going on around it, but the big thing is that's going to happen tomorrow.
Live on Facebook?
I don't think that's necessary.
I think it is. Let's see it happen. Heat race number 2 on the racetrack for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 Sprint Car Series. Starting on the pole out of Burlington, the 46C, that's Ryan Coniam. Alongside of him from Harding, Pennsylvania, the 79, it's Jordan Thomas. Starting in third, he picked up 2 big wins back in August right here at the Big O from Cicero, New York, to 10C, Paulie Colagiovanni. And his outside, racing in a Prairie City, Iowa, the 0J, Linton Jeffrey. Going from 5th out of Niagara Falls in the 70, it's Bailey Hurd. Alongside him, a Little Bend 110 from Brantford, it's Jake Brown. Starting in 7th, Mikey Krutchka out of Hamilton in the 01K. And rolling off in the 8th and final spot from Dorchester, Car 1, Holly Porter. So just to clarify, 0J, Linton Jeffrey with an L. Infield reporter, Clinton Jeffrey with a C. You got that, Adam? That was all for you.
I'm all over it.
Here we go, Coniam and Thomas, and boy, Thomas shot out of a cannon out of 4.
Yeah, Thomas with a great launch up on the high side. He'll take the lead down the back straightaway. Ryan Coniam left to hold off Paulie Colagiovanni, which is easier said than done, and it's not very easily said, Greg.
No, he has really flexed some muscle here, especially over that 2-night show here at Ohsweken Speedway. The NASCAR week picked up the 2 big paydays, and in dominating fashion. I mean, neither race was he dominant from the very start, but once he pulled away, it was lights out for the rest of the field.
I'll tell you, though, Ryan Coniam looked really stout in our second Canadian Sprint Car Nationals of the season, and he's out there holding off Colagiovanni. Colagiovanni tried to come down off the cushion there in 3 and 4, just couldn't get the drive he needed to make that move work.
And Tommy, no surprise, Jordan Thomas out in front.
Yeah, Jordan Thomas clicking off some very quick laps at 13.7. His quickest lap so far, that's 0.3 faster than anybody else. Clean air makes a difference, of course, but Thomas always quick every time he shows up here.
Good battle deep in the field. Mikey Krutchka trying to work through from a pretty poor starting spot. Got around Bailey Hurd right behind Jake Brown in the 110 machine, but laps starting to wind down.
2 laps left to go for the driver to Harding, Pennsylvania, Jordan Thomas. over Ryan Conium, Polly Colagiovanni, and Linton Jeffrey, your top 4, as the white flag comes out off of corner 4.
Krechka may be using this as a bit of a test session. Originally told me he was going to run tomorrow, but he did decide to run tonight, and he's going to try to get that final transfer away from Brown.
Be a big move if he could. Thomas going to take the win. Conium coming home second. Colagiovanni third. Then it's Linton Jeffrey. Jake Brown hangs on for that spot over Krechka, Hurd, and Holly Porter.
So 2 heats in the books, and it's Jordan Thomas out of Harding, Pennsylvania, picking up heat race 2 win over Ryan Conium and Polly Colagiovanni. So we get ready for the 3rd qualifying heat to roll out onto the speedway. We've got one stopped, though, up in corner 4 there. I believe it's Jake Brown. So we'll get a push truck on the Little Ben 110 and bring out heat race number 3. Kevin Pauls will start on the pole for this one. He's from St. Catharines in the 46. And to his outside from Cheektowaga, New York in the 94, it's Todd Hoddick. Going from 3rd from Fenwick in the 14H, the Red Rocket, Jim Hoopinen. And to his outside from Beamsville, the 88H, it's Josh Hansen. Going from 5th from Binbrook, car number 9, Liam Martin. And going from 6th out of Dunnville, he won the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals back on July the 1st. It's Ryan Turner. Ryan Turner in the 15. Starting in 7th out of St. Pete, Quebec, the 3G, Dale Goslin. And going off 8th at a Caister Center, car 11, Jamie Turner. 8 cars make up heat race number 3, 8 laps the distance.
Greg, all that roster work you were doing earlier, did you do crates or just 360?
I did both.
Where do they live?
On the G-Force 2022 roster. First 2 pages.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. Here we go. Kevin Pauls, Todd Hoddick on the front row for this one. 8 laps the distance. Still 1 qualifying heat to go for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder. 360 sprint cars. Green flag goes up in the air.
A couple of our younger drivers in this one. Josh Hansen taking the lead now. He's one of those. And Liam Martin back there in the number 9, another young Charger, and he gets it done on the outside. Heading into corner 3, passes 2 or 3 cars there.
Great message on the wing of the 15 machine there, and every child matters scheme. Same with Liam Martin's number 9. Fantastic look on those race cars.
Josh Hansen out in front. Couple of feature wins this year here at the Big O with Todd Hoddick riding in the 2nd spot over Liam Martin, Ryan Turner, and Hoopinen. Now as we watch the battle at the back, it's Jamie Turner back there with Kevin Pauls and Dale Goslin having a good fight.
How much fun was it to watch Goslin at Brighton Speedway last time we were out? Man, he showed a lot of nerve, the line he was running, the speed he was running. Tonight, he's got a little bit tougher here at the Big O, but out in front, Josh Hansen having his way with this qualifying heat.
Yeah, Goslin looks like maybe doesn't quite have the handle on the 3G the way he would like. Up front, it's all Hansen. Then Hoddick 2nd, Martin 3rd, Turner 4th, and Hoopinen in the 5th and final transfer. A long way back to Jamie Turner in the 6th spot.
2 laps left to go for the driver of the Julie Swayze Remax, J&E Recovery, and towing number 88H. Josh Hansen has had a season that he'll long remember. First 2 wins here at the Big O in 360 competition, and here he comes to the white flag, one of the biggest heats of his career.
Doing a great job is Josh Hansen, that J&E Recovering number 88 machine. He'll race down the back straightaway, nearly a half a backstretch lead as he enters 3 and 4. He's going to take this qualifying win. 2nd goes to Hoddick, 3rd Liam Martin, then it's Ryan Turner. The Red Rocket coming home 5th. Then it's Goslin, Turner, and Pauls.
So 3 in the books, 1 more to go for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars as we see Josh Hansen pull it to the pit area, and he'll go across the scales and get ready now for his feature event a little bit later on here tonight as the Strickland Pace Truck will bring out heat race number 4. They'll line up like this from the pole out of Tonawanda, New York in the 7NY. Matt Farnham, and to his outside from the second spot out of Waterdown in the 0C, it's Cole McDonald. And apparently he does not have a farm, but Adam's voting that we buy him one, apparently, or at least a T-shirt that says that. Going from the third spot out of Brantford in car number 10, it's Downtown Mitch Brown. And going from the fourth position out of Tilsonburg, car 13, the 2022 champion here at the Big O, Corey Turner. Starting in fifth out of Mount Bridges in the 45, it's Tricky Nick Sheridan. And going from the sixth spot from Brampton, the 70 M&M, it's Dave McKnight Jr. Going from seventh, the Ohsweken Flyer, Glenn Stiers in car 0. And going off in eighth out of Grand Island, New York, the 21K, Kyle Phillips. It's 8 cars, 8 laps. Final qualifying heat of the night for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars. And no Cole McDonald.
Uh-oh. Did see him in hot laps. So he was out here earlier.
What a bummer.
He's on his way, guys. He just got trapped back in the back area somehow by traffic, they said over the radio. So he is working his way out. Here he comes.
Yeah, Cole messaged me there last week on Facebook to say that he does not live on a farm, but we both agreed that the apparel could look really cool. Think of the possibilities.
All right, white flag displayed. We're ready to go. 8 laps the distance. Final qualifying heat of the evening before we get ready for some B mains. Pole dash for the crate sprint cars. Intermission and our A mains here tonight. Downtown Mitch Brown, there we see him on screen right now. He has a win this year at Humberstone Speedway, but so far, no win here at the Big O. Could tonight finally be the night for Downtown Mitch Brown? Here we go to the green flag.
He was up on the wheel for the start of that one. Mitch Brown immediately to the inside. He'll take up that second spot. They're 3 wide for third down the backstretch.
Wow, that was a close one there. Turner squirts out of the middle between Sheridan and McDonald, but McDonald looks very quick in that 0C tonight.
Oh, Turner right up in front of Brown. Brown back down to the inside. He'll get by the 13 as they race down into corner number 3. Turner, though, around the outside off of corner 4 at the line. Turner in second.
Things got a little ugly there between Nick Sheridan and Cole McDonald down in turn number 4. McDonald got the worst of that transaction. He is all the way at the back and possibly needing a change of shorts.
Up front, it's all Matt Farnham right now. He's got about a half straightaway lead. Make that a full straightaway lead on Corey Turner. Mitch Brown has not gone away in that fight for that second spot. And then Sheridan in the 45 catching both of them.
Farnham up high all the way around the racetrack. Leads it down the backstretch into corner number 3. Brown, meanwhile, trying to close the gap on second place. Turner, he'll look down low in 3 and 4. Off of corner 4. Big hop off the front end of that car.
I don't know if he clipped the inside wall or just a bit of a pile of dirt down there, but Mitch Brown got some hang time there with the front end of that number 10. It didn't slow him down, and he's right back up on the wheel battling for second.
Much smoother through the corner that time, but Turner still has the momentum on the outside. 2 laps to go for Brown to try to get that one done, but Sheridan still lurking there in the 4th spot, and behind them Phillips and Stiers side by side.
Farnham across the line as your leader. Then this 3-car battle. Turner, Brown, and Sheridan. Here they go through corner number 2. Sheridan gets a little loose there and loses ground to second and third.
Brown with a big swing down into 3 and 4. Hits that same bump. Loses his speed, so it'll be Farnham, Turner, Brown, Sheridan, Stiers just ahead of Phillips. Then is Dave McKnight and Cole McDonald.
There is something down there in corner 4, and I think Corey might have just hit it there too. But Mitch Brown hit it twice in corner 4, and the front end of the car jumped up in the air. And a wild ride for Mitch Brown down in 4, but there's definitely some sort of a bump or a rut, something there that upset the car twice for Brown.
Got my attention, Greg. So we're going to go straight to the B main for the crate sprints, and then to the B main for the Knights of Thunder. So a very quick turnaround for some of these Knights of Thunder's team, sprint car teams, to get ready for their B main. They are not wasting any time. Immediately onto the racetrack. We'll need to confirm how many cars will transfer out of this.
This will be, it should be 6 out of the B main for them.
Confirm 6 guys.
Isn't it nice having Tommy right here?
Oh,
I wrote the format on the website, so I should remember that part.
it's like having Wikipedia.
Not quite. I have to look things up sometimes.
I've got a bad case of the stupids, and I don't know what's wrong with
Tonight?
me. Oh, I'm especially dumb tonight. On the pole for this B feature, remember the top 6 transferred. 19 cars are scheduled to take the green. On the pole from Ohsweken, the 77T is Tyler Paulus alongside. Out of Brockville, the 52B is Matt Billings. Starting 3rd in the 77E from Ohsweken, it's Ashton Van Every. And rolling off 4th from Ohsweken, the 9C is Brian Nanticoke. Starting 5th from Fonthill, the 08 is Stephen Beckett. Starting 6th from Thamesford, the 45 is Curtis Gartley. 7th from Ohsweken, the MK8 is Matt Hill. 8th from Salmon Arm, British Columbia, the 26 is John Burney. Starting 9th from Ancaster, the 26X is Terry Baker. Starting 10th from Ohsweken, the 28 is Cam Thompson. Starting 11th from Ohsweken, the 99 is Joshua Hill. Starting 12th from Smithville, the 2C is John Cadman. 13th from Kitchener, the 2 is Travis Hofstetter. 14th from Ancaster, the 16X is Keegan Baker. 15th from Waynefleet, the BS39 is Brett Stratford. 16th from Brantford, the 69K is Ken Hamilton. Starting 17th from Dorchester, the 48 is Andrew Marshall. 18th from Ohsweken, the 420 is Victor Bomberry. And rounding out the field from Ohsweken, the 21 is Braden Burning. 19 cars scheduled. How many have made the call? Looks like 19. We'll do some quick math here. "19 cars on the racetrack, 18 of them are rolling. The 9C of Brian Nanticoke has come to a stop. And why is that important, Greg? You're allowed to get pushed off from the small track. If you do, and you come out when the field comes out, you get your starting spot. If you come to a stop on the racetrack, unless it's for something safety related, driver has to go to the back of the field. So Brian Nanticoke may have to relinquish his 4th place starting spot.
I mean, if the car stalls, I'm popping a belt off.
Yeah.
Safety?
You know, you're not wrong, Greg. And even we see it in the Thunder stocks, right? Causing intentional yellows. You just have to know how to play the game and calm your nerves a bit before you just drop it in gear and go for it. So you're right. You know, if you can be crafty and you do know the rules, you can get away with things now and then. And Doug's not in a position to argue. He can't tell whether your belts are loose from where he is. But yeah, obviously a safety issue here on the 9C.
Hey, I got a message from April Wilson this week. Remember at Brighton, I was saying she looks uncomfortable in the car. She's doing something. She had a problem with her seatbelts. Because there was multiple drivers driving it.
Yeah.
And I forget what she said she had to do, but she had to undo her seatbelts to do whatever she needed to do or loosen them right off and then try to get them tightened back down again.
Should mention John Verney out there. You mentioned he's from Salmon Arm, BC, but the Long Tow Award, if you want clarification on that, goes to the team and the car. And the car that John Verney drives is local here to Ohsweken. So even though John flies in from BC, the Matthew Barjay car definitely came the furthest. And so we give them the Long Tow Award, just in case. I know some people have that question every year.
Same situation tomorrow with Linton Jeffrey, right? He's in to drive the Steyer's car.
Yeah.
Probably came from the farthest, but not going to get that award because he didn't tow it the farthest. Still safety issues on the Nanticoke 9C, guys. They're trying to work on his belts in there to figure out what the situation is, so we'll see how this one goes.
Brian Nanticoke, one of the drivers featured on Friday Night Thunder on APTN, and I've really enjoyed watching it. And thankfully this year it's actually on at the times that says it's on, because I've recorded it a bunch of times and I get the wrong show when I try to watch it.
Very well done as Friday Night Thunder, and season 2 is underway now. So check that out. Check your local listing.
I find there's a little bit too much Clinton Jeffrey. You know, the new
Sour
season.
grapes.
Oh, good to see. Good to see.
You and I are not camera ready.
No. Goodness, no.
Well, I think the one guy right now in this B main, I'm sure there's a lot of drivers thinking, oh, I should have got through the heat. But Brett Stratford, the problem he had up there in corner number 2, look how deep he is now in this B main. And he was someone that I really thought coming into tonight, and he still could win it. Let's not count that out completely. But he's got a lot of work to do right now.
Just to get in it.
Just to get in it. But if there's a driver in this B main that could do it, I believe Brett Stratford's one of them.
I can't pick on a race car driver for what they do out there on the racetrack, but I was surprised to see Stratford when he had to come from the back. He stuck to the bottom of the racetrack, and there was just too much congestion down there. He needed to get to the top, go somewhere nobody else was running, and try to make it work. I feel the same way here. I don't think he can get to where he's going on the bottom unless everybody is running the top like they were in the 360s, but I don't anticipate that with our crate sprints.
This could be a feature on most nights at a lot of racetracks, but this is just our B main, and only 6 will transfer. It's about to get crazy.
Curtis Gartley told me earlier this week he hasn't run a B main yet since he joined the crate division, but he's in one tonight. He's starting in that 6th spot in the 45 car. Here we go, green flag out.
Down into turn number 1, Matt Billings. He would love nothing more than to get away from the field. I think he'll have it. He'll have his work cut out for him out there as he's racing with Tyler Powless in the 77T.
Yeah, the other 77 in our field on a weekly basis, Tyler Powless again. He's another driver that's really turned up the wick here in 2022, and he looks like a completely different driver from what we saw last year and the start of this year. Tyler Powless is for real. He's out in front right now over a veteran on dirt, Matt Billings, in that 52.
Matt Billings has seen a lot of success out there. I'm watching Brett Stratford picking off a car a lap, Tommy. He's got to keep that pace up.
Yeah, Stratford's quick in that 39 car. Still got a ways to go, though, as Gartley in the 45 has the final transfer. Beckett is trying to run him down side by side ahead of him between Verney and Van Every.
Only 12 laps for this B main, so a lot of work to do just to get into the top 6. Right now it's Powless and Billings 1 and 2, then Brian Nanticoke, and then John Verney in 4th, Ashton Van Every, and Curtis Gartley, that orangish yellow number 45. That's the cutoff.
And Curtis Gartley is not driving away enough from Stephen Beckett. I'm looking to see who's behind them. My timing and scoring is a little bit mixed up there, but is that
Terry Baker?
Oh, problem. Oh, we got to slow down.
We got one over.
Oh, I've got a horrible case of the stupids. I can't spit my words out tonight. Is that Joshua Hill?
That was going to be my guess, and I'd seen a couple of cars had problems down the front stretch. And yes, it is Joshua Hill. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh.
That will be a disappointing way for Joshua to take out a top wing. Just a bit of a slow slide, and it tipped on over and crumpled it up.
That could have just as easily just landed back down on the wheels, but it went all the rest of the way over. So an easy over, considering, for sprint cars there for Joshua Hill.
And it's always easy for us to say,
Yeah.
I could tip over in this chair and I'd have to call CAA to come and pick me up. But we have higher expectations for these race car drivers.
That image.
Well, down here on the track, Josh Hill out on his own accord, and that's good news. Josh, you okay, man? That's the main question here. What happened in turn number 1?
I got up beside him. I had a good run, and he kind of just over after that.
Right on. Do you know who it was?
No, I don't. Number 2, maybe.
All right, there you have it. It says just got up beside him, thought he was there, and then he wasn't, guys. So good thing Josh Hill's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, have a hand for Josh Hill. Let him know you appreciate him being all right. The car's got a top wing issue, guys. He'll be done for the night, but most likely be repaired and ready to go tomorrow.
Yeah, we'd have to have another look at the replay, I think, to maybe see if there's anyone around him when this happened. But
Now, Joshua doesn't do the borrowing that Matt does he? Like, if it was Matt Hill, he would just bum enough parts to be out there tomorrow because he is famous for doing that. But I don't think Josh was the bummer that Matthew is.
Did you hear that, Josh? Adam said he thought you wouldn't borrow parts like your brother would. You going to borrow some parts?
I will borrow anything.
He's ready to go, guys.
Watch the show, folks. Watch the show. The Hills, I've enjoyed so much. That was a bit of a stunt driving maneuver that Josh did down there.
yeah, the very start of that replay, you could see another car there, and it looked like a black top wing, which would possibly be the 2.
It'll be funny watching some of these drivers. I hope not too many of them get upset with John Cadman. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
One of those things, if you don't know who you're walking up to, walk into his bit.
Well, it's funny you said that because John was on the message board last night saying on Facebook saying, I got to drive one. I may pull the trigger sooner or later. And I said, well, you're working with the Baker team. I mean, you got John, Keegan, and Terry, and I'm sure you can arm wrestle all of them. So take your pick what car you want. But he actually bought the car from Lee Winger and just said, yeah, looking to have some fun.
Yeah, the 2 of Hofstetter as we watched that camera
too.
replay. I didn't kind of caught that late, but there was contact there between the 2.
And I was going to say, fellas, Brett Stratford would really benefit from a yellow flag. Let's watch this again. It did look like Hofstetter was on his way up the racetrack to approach turn 1, but Josh Hill was already there. Mikey Krutchka framed it best, and I don't even know when he said it. But he said, look, guys, when it comes to racing sprint cars, it's never intentional.
Yeah.
You know, a slider is as much intent as you'll get, and even that, the person who executes a slide job wants it to be successful.
Yeah, without the fenders, it's a different ball game, I guess you would say, because these cars will quickly go for a wild ride, so there aren't a lot of times where you can beat and bang. If it is, it's usually under the caution flag. That's the time to prove your point.
Guys, the pole dash for this division was just sent to me. Larry Gledhill's on the pole for the pole dash, which is a good deal for Larry.
That's awesome.
Got to send a shout out to his business, Oakwood Transport. They topped up the purses for these guys for 2 nights, Adam. They threw a bunch of extra money and making sure that these guys will go home with no less than $200 tomorrow and $300 tonight for making the A-Main, which is a great job by Larry and everyone at Oakwood Transport for all their support.
Absolutely. Awesome to see people wanting to get involved with events. And while we do have a moment, I've got to give a shout out tonight to Connor. My son, Connor Ross, who wanted to be here badly tonight. He may come out tomorrow, but he's nursing a fractured knee. He went back to high school, Greg, basically so he could play one more year of football. And the very first scrimmage, he went down, and like the caring father I am, it's going to be okay. Just have a good sleep. And he was obviously in some pain, so we went to the emergency room.
And if that were me, my first thought would have been, is it too late to pull out of all my classes? That's how scholarly I was.
and same with Connor. I mean, that's not his thing, but he wanted to come tonight. He was going to. I'm going to try to find him a golf cart for tomorrow, but they're tough to come by.
Make them walk. They'll be all right.
Field stacks up on the back straightaway. Tyler Paulus in the 77, Matt Billings in the 52, Brian Nanticoke in the 9.
Boy, they're going to stall out some of these cars on the backstretch. They are creeping to a restart here. Tyler Paulus, Matt Billings, Brian Nanticoke, green flag back in the air, single file past the restart cone. Tyler Paulus holding off the 52 of Matt Billings, a driver to Brockville, Ontario, and that Ryan Hunsinger-owned machine as they go down into corner number 1. Billings look down on the bottom. Tyler Paulus closes the door.
Halfway through in this one, and Brett Stratford, he just lost a couple of spots. He's got to get aggressive out there if he's going to make it into the show. We look back at the 6th spot. Curtis Gartley still has the position. He's got more of a gap now than they did before that yellow flag. He's out there battling with Ashton Van Every in the 77.
Yeah, Gartley about to take over that spot from Van Every as he gets a good run out of corner 4, and he'll power by on the front straightaway. Up front right now, it's all Paulus in the 77T as now Van Every fights back to try to take that spot. Stephen Beckett in the 08 trying to chase him down for the final transfer.
Continue to watch Brett Stratford as he gets by the 28 machine of Cam Thompson. Now will set his sights on the next car in front, the Baker machine, and then Stephen Beckett as he rolls around the outside of Baker, but time running out with 2 to go for Tyler Paulus.
He's found something on the outside. I wish he'd have gone there earlier because I think he can get there. He had to bite the brakes a little bit to avoid Stephen Beckett. He'll head to the high side of Beckett. He could do this, folks.
Man, white flag is out. Tyler Paulus across the line.
Gartley now takes away that spot from Verney, but all eyes on the 39 of Stratford as he tries to chase down Van Every in the 77. Verney sideways in front of both of them.
A lot of traffic out there. Checkered flag is out. Paulus going to take the win over Billings in 2nd. 3rd to Brian Nanticoke. 4th to Gartley. He just missed.
Oh, yellow. Nope, checkered flag and yellow together.
Checkered flag and yellow, so I believe this will be over.
I think Brett Stratford needed to try that outside line 1 lap sooner.
Yeah.
He did have the door shut, though, by Stephen Beckett there the lap before, but boy, 1 spot short for the BS39 of Brett Stratford.
Yeah, and that's what I said when we were talking lineups, talking strategy. If he'd have gone up there, there was racetrack there. Yeah. You've got to go where they're not, and that's a learning experience. Brett Stratford is a gifted race car driver, still learning. So 5th and 6th were John Verney in the 26, Ashton Van Every in the 77. Missing out on the feature, Brett Stratford, Stephen Beckett, Terry Baker, Cam Thompson, John Cadman, Travis Hofstetter, Matthew Hill, Andrew Marshall, Keegan Baker, Victor Bomberry, Ken Hamilton, Braden Burney, and Joshua Hill.
Take a quick break here at the Big O. We'll be back with the B main for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder here on G-Force TV.
You're so tasty. Drive me crazy. Ain't nothing I can do.
Early man discovered fire, but Quick Wick perfected fire. Quick Wick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without the need for kindling or paper. Find your nearest Quick Wick retailer at quickwick.com.
I've always had the spirit that I wanted to invent something new, and so when we got into clothing, I got immersed into it, and the only way that you would really understand how to build clothing is to become a pattern maker. That pattern maker concept started becoming very interesting to me because I went, I can make this better. Love it. Absolutely love designing. Doesn't matter whether it's a garment or an engine or a car, decals on our race cars. I love doing that. That's my forte.
Back live at Ohsweken Speedway. As we have the inaugural Canadian Crate Sprint Car Nationals. The Pinty's Knights of Thunder B main on the racetrack right now. 4 cars will transfer, 13 cars scheduled to make the call. Kyle Phillips, Mikey Krutchka on row number 1, Dale Goslin and Jamie Turner back in row 2. Row 3 made up of Sean Evans and Dave McKnight Jr. Row 4, Bailey Hurd, Holly Porter. Row number 5, John Burbridge Jr. and Scott Hall. Back in the 6th row, Cole McDonald and Kevin Pauls. And Tyler Rand was scheduled to go from the tail, but obviously with the problems earlier on, he will not make the call. 4 cars to transfer. Last chance qualifier for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 Sprint Car Series.
Kyle Phillips right up on the loud pedal at the start of that one, but Mikey Krutchka heads to the outside. See you later.
Yeah, power move there by Krutchka. A bit of a weird start on that one as Phillips got out front, but Krutchka now winding it up on the top side in the 0-1.
It's all Krutchka down the backstretch over Phillips, Turner, and Bailey Hurd in that 4th spot, looking for more as he slips to the inside of the veteran Jamie Turner. He'll take away 3rd.
Dale Goslin rolling in to put pressure on Jamie Turner in that number 11. Goslin swings to the outside. He'll take over that all-important 4th spot.
There is some bite down on the bottom of turn 2. If you watch Bailey Hurd in the 70 car, he is making hay down there. Watch him as he comes through. Oh, this time he slides up a bit. Didn't get it done that time, but Hurd is on the move in that 70 car and making it work on the bottom of turn 2.
Pinty's Knights of Thunder winner Dale Goslin down at the Brighton Speedway Labor Day weekend. He is into a transfer spot. Now he's got that 3 machine humming. Closing ground on Bailey Hurd down the backstretch.
We talk all the time. These drivers don't know what's going on behind them. Dale Goslin knows he's in that transfer position, but he'd like to get another position out here as the move over flag being displayed. Here comes the leader, Mikey Krutchka. They're racing side by side in front of the 0-1.
Yeah, 6 laps in and 6 to go in this B main, and Krutchka going to have to make some moves here as they race side by side in front of him. Phillips maybe taking the opportunity here to try to catch up to Krutchka.
Jamie Turner was having troubles there for a couple of laps. He's taken to the pit areas to see Scott Hall also making his way off the racetrack up in corner 2.
Wow, trouble in 3 and 4 for John Burbridge Jr. in that 21 machine. He got all sorts of crossed up. Mikey Krutchka did a masterful job driving through that slower traffic. He knew when to lift, he knew when to stay on the throttle, and as a result, he's got that half straightaway lead.
Phillips did a good job too getting through the traffic though. Didn't lose that much ground, but Krutchka really fast in that 0-1 tonight as we'll keep an eye on that final transfer spot. Right now it's still Goslin in the 3G, but Evans trying to catch him in the 87X.
2 laps left to go for Mikey Krutchka over Kyle Phillips, and then it's Bailey Hurd in the 3rd spot working through lap traffic. Dale Goslin in 4th. Sean Evans, he'll dive down in corner number 1 looking for that last qualifying position.
Krutchka takes the white flag. Goslin to the inside of Dave McKnight in the 70. Sean Evans just a little ways behind, but I actually think Evans has lost ground there that last lap or so. It is all Krutchka out in front. He'll take the win in this B main in the 0-1. Kyle Phillips going to come home 2nd. Bailey Hurd going to drive that 70 to a 3rd place finish. Dale Goslin rounds out the top 4 transfer spots.
So Mikey Krutchka, Kyle Phillips, Bailey Hurd, and Dale Goslin will transfer into tonight's A main. And Bailey Hurd asked if I'd give a birthday shout out to his buddy Dakota DeCenzio, who is here tonight. So happy birthday, Dakota, from Bailey. And Bailey just gave you a great gift. You get to cheer him on in the A main tonight.
That is a great gift.
Well, guys, our Case IH track report down here, you know, the whole track looks amazing, all the stuff they've done. But the big problem right here is this turn 3. We can see a bit of a hole here. Zigger, our track crew, just messaged me, said, I want to come out and look at it. Starting to build a bit of a berm here, guys, and a slight curb, and a hole I nearly tripped in there. So got one tough spot here in 3. The rest of the track looks perfect. That's your Case IH Agricultural Track Report.
Clint, if you wouldn't mind, I know it's a bit of work, but I would love for you to go around to turn 4, right where the cone is on the inside wall. What are the drivers hitting? We saw Mitch Brown get airborne. We saw it happen to Jamie Turner there in that last race. Down low, it's something that really launches the front end of these race cars.
All right, we'll go down and check it out.
While Clinton is taking that walk, let's introduce you to the drivers and the starting lineup for the pole dash. How they finish in this one is how they will start tonight's Canadian Sprint. Jeez Louise. The Crate Sprint Nationals tonight for the Crate Sprint cars. On the pole for the dash, it is 5 laps. That's all the time they've got. From Thamesford, the 14 is Larry Gledhill. Outside of him from Freelton, the 12 double D is Darren Dryden. Row 2 on the inside from Alexandria, the 51L is Lee Ladouceur. Outside him from Georgetown, the 2M is Steve Murdock. Starting 5th from St. Thomas, the 52 is Jesse Costa. Starting 6th from Bowmanville, the 31 is Dale Curran. Starting 7th from St. Catharines, the 71 is Mike Bowman. And starting 8th from Port Colborne, the 5D is Jacob Dykstra.
Well, Adam, down here in turn number 4, I don't see anything. It's actually pool table smooth. I'm not sure what could be upsetting the cars.
It's by the other cone, sorry, Clinton, by the photographers.
By the other cone.
So they're sort of from the center of the corner. Sorry about that.
Okay, so, yeah, we do have a bit of a ridge coming up down here. There's a bit of a hole developing in turn 4, actually, Adam. And, yeah, I can see where it upset them. We'll try and get you a view of that here after this qualifying dash.
I mean, Greg and I both kind of took a breath there as a couple of drivers hit that. It definitely causes them a moment, Greg.
Yeah, Mitch Brown had 2 moments down there, and one of them was pretty close to a Mighty Wipes moment, so that's how serious it was.
The Mighty Wipes moment of the night is the greatest marketing move that's never happened.
I want to welcome Dennis and Pamela are here tonight, actually, from Mighty Wipes, guys.
Mighty Wipes happened for sure. Fantastic product and great supporters of the racetrack. It's been a lot of fun talking about them.
It has. Here we go. Green flag in the air. The pole dash for the Crate Sprint cars. And, boy, they take off in a hurry into corner 1 and things shuffle up.
Mike Bowman got a big launch, maybe too big. We'll see what Doug Leonard has to say about that as Darren Dryden leads the way over Steve Murdock. Murdock looking to the outside of the 12 double D, almost ran out of real estate.
Boy, it looked tight there between Murdock and Dryden, and now Murdock takes the lead down the back straightaway. So, bit of a surprise here. Murdock in line to get the pole if he can stay up there.
And he's been good since the drop of the green flag. Won his qualifying heat over 2 champions here in 2022 over Smith and Barjay. And here he is around the guy who's got the most wins here at Ohsweken this year.
2 laps to go in this pole dash. Jacob Dykstra swapping slide jobs with Mike Bowman. That's back there in that battle for the 4 spot. Lee Ladouceur right behind them, but up front, Steve Murdock holding a pretty wheel in that white number 2.
White flag out now for Murdock. He's got a half straightaway on Dryden. Side by side back there between Bowman and Dykstra. Those 2 have gone at it numerous times this year.
Off of corner 3 and 4, it's going to be Steve Murdock picking up the win in the pole dash over Darren Dryden. Then it'll be Dale Curran, Mike Bowman, and Jake Dykstra. Boy, that was dicey off of corner 4. And then Jesse Costa, Lee Ladouceur, and Larry Gledhill complete the running order. But boy, oh boy, Tommy, you and I have been here for the Canadian Sprint Car National weekends for a long time. And our good friend Rich Vleck would say, you got to check all the boxes. Well, so far, Steve Murdock's done that. Heat race win, pole dash win. Now he's got 1 more to go.
Yeah, Murdock, sort of one of the dark horses coming into tonight, has looked very strong in that number 2 car. Dryden, as you mentioned, has 4 feature wins here this year, and Murdock just drove right around him on the outside.
So pole dash is completed. That will take us into our brief intermission before we get ready for our A mains tonight. The Pinty's Knights of Thunder will be up first. It'll be 25 laps for them, and then the first ever running of the Canadian Crate Sprint Car Nationals. 30 laps tonight here on G-Force TV. We'll take a quick break and be back with more racing action.
Early man discovered fire, but Quick Quick perfected fire. Quick Quick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without the need for kindling or paper. Find your nearest Quick Quick retailer at quickquick.com.
On the scene since 1949, Fast Eddie was born with a lead foot and a burning need for speed. His passion for speed and sport has been captured in this authentic collection of vintage-themed gear. Created for gearheads, riders, and racers, Fast Eddie truly encompasses the great Canadian racing culture we have from coast to coast. Drive hard, get dirty, and look good doing it. Fast Eddie Speedwear. Get geared up.
You're so tasty. Drive me crazy. Ain't nothing I can do.
Back live at Ohsweken Speedway as we see the two-seat sprint car out there on the racetrack, taking some laps around the speedway. Someone's getting a ride of a lifetime out there right now as you see our facility ready to go. Two features remain on the card here tonight. Up first will be the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars, 25 laps. The distance in the A main tonight for the 360s, and then it'll be the inaugural running of the Canadian Crate Nationals, 30 laps, the distance for our crate sprint cars here tonight. And we got Tommy Googe in the booth tonight. He and Clinton Jeffrey have both had a chance to go in this two-seater. And Tommy, what was that experience like? That's a long time ago that you went for that ride.
Keith Dempster was driving mine, and he ran the bottom, and I was very thankful for that. I just timed a lap on that thing, 16 seconds.
Wow.
Like 16 seconds around the outside in a two-seater. No, thank you.
Yeah, but it definitely is a ride of a lifetime, and they've been giving some rides this year, and someone's probably got a grin on their face right now in that second seat of that two-seater sprint car. As we get ready, feature time coming up here in just a little while, and just taking a brief intermission. I will run through those program numbers quickly again as the car was out on the track there. 1854, 1822, 1842, 1901, 1881, 1933, and 1867. So those are the winning program numbers. Go down to the base of the flag stand to claim your prize for that. And we should also mention that the Caledonia Fair is coming upon us, celebrating 150 years. So this is a big deal for the Caledonia Fair. 150 years. It starts on Thursday, September the 29th, and it goes right through until Sunday, October the 2nd. It opens at 4 o'clock on the Thursday. Kids pay one price for rides till 10 o'clock. Also, the Fair Riverside Exhibition Center features exhibits of art, crafts, baking, flowers, needlecraft, photography, and agricultural exhibits. The ever-popular President's Choice Super Dogs. Oh, this sounds good. I got to try one of these. Oh, no, I thought it was a hot dog. It's not. Oh, boo. I was so, and then I read this. They're putting on their cowboy hats and spurs. No, does a super dog not sound tasty, though, Tommy? Yeah, especially right now. But anyways, they'll be performing and doing a demonstration at the Wild Wild Woof Show. There you go. Friday, September the 30th and Saturday, October 1st at 7:30, the Smashing and Crashing takes place with the Demolition Derbies, and it's always a crowd pleaser, so make sure you're there for those. The world's finest shows, Midway, runs continually all weekend with fun rides for all ages. Mark your calendars for the Caledonia 150th Fair, September 29th through October 2nd. For more information, caledoniafair.ca. And I'll tell you what, they've got something like 25 food vendors lined up. So even if you don't like rides and all of that, just go for the food, because the fair is always a great time to go and overeat, really. I mean, that's part of the experience, is it not? And extra special this year being the 150th celebration of the Caledonia Fair. And we'd like to thank the ladies that brought up the cake here tonight. And maybe Spencer can put that back on the screen. But they made a cake for us. It's got a race car on it, and it says Omaha, which is our safe word, Tommy, between Adam and I when things start going off the rails, which is multiple times during an I don't think you and I ever needed an Omaha moment in all the years we worked together. But with
we
Adam,
probably could have used one a couple of times. We weren't smart enough to come up with it.
There's the cake with Omaha on it. So thank you very much for that. And I'm hoping Adam's looking for a knife while he's down there at the washroom facilities. But
as long as it's not too sharp.
I mean, I guess we could eat it together in the box with the forks we were provided, but that's too much of a Lady and the Tramp moment that I don't want to have with Adam. So at least it's not spaghetti.
I have to give a call out to the person who wrote that Caledonia Fair info for you. That's some A+ cursive handwriting.
Oh, it is. It's excellent. The only spot I got caught up in other than the Super Dogs, obviously, but it says Needlecraft. And the first time I read it, I thought it said Speedlecraft. And I thought, Speed Needlecraft would be actually pretty exciting, wouldn't it, if you saw that live? No? Oh, come
maybe.
on. Speedlecraft. Coming to the No, it's Needlecraft. At the Caledonia Fair, but that's some excellent cursive writing. A lot of folks don't even know how to do that anymore, little less read it. You can tell I'm over 40 because, well, you're almost 42, though, Tom.
Yeah, I learned cursive. My daughter wants to learn. Her teacher was going to teach them last year. I don't know how far they got on that, but
it's a thing of the past.
It's a lost art for sure. I never write anything anymore. I'm sitting here typing on my computer right now.
So the Knights of Thunder getting ready, and of course we had the quick turnaround here from their B main, so giving the drivers time to get ready for the A main here tonight. Again, don't forget to be back tomorrow night for the 18th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, and we should give a big shout out to Nitro 54 Variety, Aero Express, Burger Barn for bringing us our Canadian Sprint Car Nationals here in 2022, and it'll be our third and final on this year. And this, of course, is the traditional weekend for the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, and it continues tomorrow night. The big money's on the line for the 360s tomorrow, with $10,000 to win for them and $5,000 to win for the Action Sprint Tour tomorrow night. So plenty of money on the line. 7:30 start time here on GeForce TV. And then next weekend, should make mention that GeForce TV will be at Delaware Speedway for two big nights of racing down there, as the Quick Wick Superstock Series will wrap up their championship on the Friday night. And then the APC Series on Saturday night will crown their champion. See if J.R. Fitzpatrick can get it done, or one of the others in the APC Series here in 2022, but that'll be right here on GeForce TV, so check that out next weekend. And, of course, Brighton Speedway has their Apple Fest weekend next Friday and Saturday as well. If you're looking for some dirt track racing, sportsman modifieds, 358 modifieds, they've got late models, the UMP Canadian modifieds, Duel on the Dirt finale for the Thunder stocks, mini stocks down there, vintage modifieds, Friday and Saturday night next weekend down at Brighton Speedway. Check that out for Apple Fest weekend. Always a blast as the season begins to wind down. And we should make mention this Sunday night, Humberstone Speedway. They're going to make attempt number 3 at the Pete Costco Memorial at Humberstone. I'll tell you what, I feel bad for Terry Vince. He has not had a break when it comes to weather. And it's been those days where it's hit and miss. It's like it could come and ruin the night, or it could go past, and Terry's just had to make some very tough decisions, but he's going to try and get in the Pete Costco Memorial night this coming Sunday night. So make your way down to Humberstone Speedway and support that show. And then, of course, Terry's going to conclude things for our sprint car divisions at the end of the month. September 29th, make that September 30th and October 1st at Humberstone Speedway, the Knights of Thunder Action Sprint Tour. Check out humberstonespeedway.ca for all the information for the Fall Classic weekend, which got kicked off last year. It was a great time down at Humberstone Speedway, 2 nights of racing. So check that out at the end of the month and support Terry Vince and Humberstone. They've done a ton of work this year and have just not had things go their way and be able to show that off for the racers and the fans, but looking forward to getting down there in a couple of weeks as well. So plenty of things coming up on the calendar here in the province of Ontario. We'll take another quick break from here at Ohsweken Speedway on GeForce TV.
So who exactly is Fast Eddie? More than just a man, it's the mindset that runs through our blood like oil through an engine. Whether on the track or on the street, Fast Eddie is the spirit that drives us to go fast and keep going. Born in 1949 with no time to look in the rearview mirror. Every story is worth telling, and every piece of Fast Eddie apparel has its own. Celebrate our mindset. This is Fast Eddie. This is combustion culture. FastEddieSpeedwear.com.
You're so tasty. Drive me crazy. Ain't nothing I can do.
Early man discovered fire, but Quick perfected fire. Quick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without the need for kindling or paper. Find your nearest Quick retailer at quickquick.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
Back live at Ohsweken Speedway as we look at some of the shots from the drone back there on the micro sprint track off of corner number 3. That's where we'll see cars start staging over there and get pushed off and ready to go for the A main for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars. Tremendous shots. That fountain over there, it's all lit up now. I didn't realize that. As the drone, Abby's going to turn the drone over there. Look at the fountain. That's fantastic. I didn't know that was there. The VIP suite built this year over in corner number 3. And I'll tell you what, this drone has been a phenomenal addition to the broadcast. I mean, we're almost not needed. Adam's busy eating right now, so I can say whatever I want about him. But, man, it's just taken the broadcast to a whole nother level and giving folks a chance to see areas of the speedways that maybe they never get a chance to see. And zoom in here. Here's the drone. See Adam filling his face. Oh, he's waving.
Oh, we're on there.
There's Tommy and I. I still think we could get some fries and a cheeseburger on that drone and just brought right to the tower. But
we're not really meant to be on TV, are we? You're just supposed to hear us.
I'm not even sure.
Face,
yeah,
right?
He's the pretty face, and we're just the voices in the sky. Oh, my. But
I did wear a shirt with a collar on it because I knew I'd be down on the front stretch doing stuff. But.
Nothing with coffee spilled on it, eh?
No, not today.
Yeah, but that drone shot and then our speed shots, and we are fortunate to have all the toys we have here and a chance to look around. I was about to say, especially last weekend at Brighton Speedway, it was kind of cool to see the shots in the pit area and down the creek and everything, because there's a lot of fans that for years sit in the grandstands and they never wander over to the pit area and don't really know what it looks like back there. And Adam brought that point up, and I thought, you know what, that's right. I went to Can-Am Speedway for I don't know how many years of my life, and I never went anywhere near the backstretch. I think I was in the pits once or twice. It's vantage points that we're able to show that a lot of fans maybe never see.
I don't know what you just mentioned something about face, and it made me think of our conversation this week about the A-Team, the old show from the 80s, and who would play what character. In my the association in my mind, I got thinking of something even more.
How did this all start? It started with a van, did it not?
I wanted an old van. I thought, how cool would it be if we get to tow around the G-Force trailer with just a rickety old red-green style van. Then it transitioned to the A-Team, and then it transitioned to who would be who.
So automatic. You said at first, you said Clinton as Murdock, and I was easily pegging you as Murdock because he's the funny one. And I thought, well, Hannibal, George Papard was always the crusty kind of anchor guy that led the team, so that's me because I'm crusty. And then Spencer's definitely B.A. Baracus, Mr. T, because what he says goes, and he can control and make our lives miserable at a press of a button. But face is definitely Clinton Jeffrey, 100%. The smooth talking.
100%. But then I just got thinking, because my mind works in really unusual ways. Which Golden Girl would you be?
Oh.
More importantly than the A-Team.
You guys are aging yourselves. You guys are dating yourselves. I never watched either of those shows.
Who would you be on Saved by the Bell, Tommy?
Oh, I don't even want to. You know, some people would probably say I was Screech, but how'd you know I watched
question. That? Well, Zach is Clint's definitely Zach. We need the blonde hair, but I think he is.
No, who is the other one? Dimples?
Slater?
He loves himself. Slater loves himself.
I can't believe I'm admitting I watched Saved by the Bell.
Didn't everybody?
I guess, apparently.
It was required watching for people of a certain age.
Yeah.
Tommy, you just struck me as a Saved by the Bell aficionado.
I wouldn't say aficionado, but definitely early 90s TV. That was what you did after school. You went home and watched that and a couple other things.
Not Golden Girls.
We had limited options back then. What were there, like 10 channels maybe? Maybe fewer than that.
And you actually had to get up to change the channel and turn the dial. No? You had the remote?
No, I had to get up. I'm saying Tommy. Oh. Tommy didn't live through that generation.
No, Tommy didn't.
No, I had a friend across the road. He didn't have cable. He had a TV antenna, and we used to get up and make the TV. You had that machine.
The dial, yeah.
So did his parents eventually love him, or did they just continue?
He had a Nintendo, and I didn't. So that was
all right, that counts.
Yeah. So we came to my house to watch TV, and his house to play Nintendo.
And in those times, I mean, that's when probably Madden football was a big deal, and the graphics would never get better than they were then.
All I remember is Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. And I just found out recently the Controller 2 controlled the ducks. Like, how did I not know that throughout my entire childhood?
I didn't know that.
You didn't? Yeah, neither did I. Yet I knew that if you did up, down, left, right, BA, start, you got 100 lives. How did I know that but not know I couldn't control the ducks?
Some people
some people
have no idea what we're talking about.
No, not at
right
all.
Now. And others are like, it's because they're too old or too young.
Yeah. And then there's the people in our age group that are thinking, lived through that. Or they're saying, what? Duck Hunt? You can control the ducks? And now you can't play it unless you have a tube TV. I've hooked up the Nintendo and played it, and it's great until you get to Duck Hunt because it needs those tube TVs to work for some reason. But all the other games, still a blast to play. Oh.
And it emitted the light, and it can't pick up that light to sense where it is.
See, Darren, we should have put Darren on the microphone for that. He explained how that gun worked. I couldn't replicate how he just described that, but
Google it.
Google it. There you go. Well, sprint cars are getting lined up, so that's good news because we don't have to talk about 80s TV and video games much longer.
We should mention this is a Knights of Thunder points race. Tomorrow night is too. And the points are very close heading into this weekend. Mitch Brown has a 5-point lead over Corey Turner and 13 points over Nick Sheridan. And it's still pretty close after that. Ryan Turner's 27 points out of the lead. So these last 4 races, including these 2 this weekend, are going to be big in terms of the Pinty's Knights of Thunder Championship.
And Mitch Brown has a lot of folks to thank for staying in the point lead after his Sunday night at Brighton. In practice, he came off a corner 4, just caught the wall and flipped the car pretty hard down the front stretch just to the base of the flag stand. And they took it over to the pit area, and they thrashed. I know Rick Wilson was right in the thick of it, and that's typical Rick Wilson. I mean, he's a tough competitor on the track, but he's the first one to help out and be there for you, and he was there helping the Brown team, and they were all working hard. Like a well-oiled machine, you had different people working on specific parts of the car, getting it all rebuilt. And I was thinking, okay, they'll make it out for the feature. There's no B main. They worked hard enough to get it out in the heat where he got a good starting spot, which was good because that track was rubbered down on Sunday night. And he got a good finish out of that night. And it all came because of the hard work just to get him back to the heat. That's really what helped him, I think.
Yeah, and that's typical of sprint car racing. If you're over in the pits sometime, you'll see if there's any sort of an incident, you'll see crew members from all kinds of different teams run over there and help because they know how hard it is to get these cars out on the track. They want to win on the track. They don't want to beat somebody because they had trouble and were sitting in the pits while everybody else was out there racing. So lots of camaraderie and teamwork over there in the pit area every night. And you'll see that even in the top levels of sprint car racing, like World of Outlaws, even those guys will go out there and help each other.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're racing for hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes, and they'll still go out there and help each other.
But you want to beat everyone on the track, not because somebody's off the track. And here we go, ready to go. The Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars with their A main starting lineup. Going from the pole out of Harding, Pennsylvania, the 79, Jordan Thomas alongside it. At Binbrook in car number 9, it's Liam Martin. Going third out of Tilsonburg in the 13, it's Corey Turner alongside him. In the 88H out of Beamsville, that's Josh Hansen. Starting in 5th from Beachville, car 5, DJ Christie alongside him. Out of Ontario, New York, in the 45H, it's Cobra, Chuck Hebing. Starting in position 7 out of Tonawanda, New York, in the 7NY, it's Matt Farnham. And going off 8th out of Picton, in the 11J, it's Chris Jones. Starting in 9th from Cheektowaga, New York, car number 94 is Todd Hoddick alongside him. Aaron Turkey out of Ohsweken in the 68. Starting in 11th out of Burlington, the 46C, Ryan Conium. His partner on the outside from Grimsby in the 90, Travis Cunningham, goes off 12th. Starting in 13th, that's where we'll find Ryan Turner out of Dunnville, Ontario in the 15. And his outside, he won the last edition of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals back in August out of Cicero, New York, the 10C, Polly Colagiovanni. Starting in 15th out of Brantford in car number 10, it's Downtown, Mitch Brown. And going off 16th out of Mount Bridges in the 45, Tricky Nicky, Nick Sheridan. Starting in 17th out of Ohsweken in car 0, the Ohsweken Flyer, Glenn Stiers. And his outside, his teammate tonight out of Prairie City, Iowa in the 0J, it's Linton Jeffrey. Starting 19th out of Brantford, the Little Bend 110, that'll be Jake Brown. And going off 20th out of Fenwick in the 14H, the Red Rocket, that is Jim Hoopaden. Starting 21st out of Hamilton, the 01K, it's Mikey Krechka. And his outside from Grand Island, New York, to 21K, that is Kyle Phillips. And in the back row, starting 23rd from Niagara Falls in the 70, it'll be Bailey Hurd. And going off 24th out of St. Pete, Quebec in the 3G, Dale Goslin. 24 cars, 25 laps the distance for the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 sprint cars. All right, folks, on the back stretch, get your cell phones out, turn on those flashlights, and we're going to send these drivers off 4 wide. We'll send them off on the back stretch and then down here on the front stretch. Folks down here, get ready, get your phones ready as well. Turn on that flashlight app. This is how we're going to send off the drivers here. And their 4 wide salute. Get up off your seat, onto your feet, wave your hat, your program, whatever you got. Here they come through corner 3. They are 4 wide and fancy for you, the fans. This is the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 Sprint Car Series. On the backstretch one more time, 4 wide, send these drivers off. They're ready to do 25 laps of battle. Getting ready for the big payday tomorrow night, but this is a Knights of Thunder points race. Still a lot on the line.
There is a lot of racetrack for these drivers to work with, Greg.
Oh, there is, and it's going to be exciting to watch, and there's some character spots, we'll call it, as well on the track tonight, too. The drivers are going to have to maneuver around, so lots to watch in 25 laps. And tonight, the 360s are the undercard, so we're going to do a quick fire it up to send them off the sights and sounds of the 360 sprint cars as they get ready to come to life with Jordan Thomas and Liam Martin on that front row. Corey Turner, Josh Hansen, row 2. DJ Christie back there on the inside of row number 3 with the Cobra. Chuck Heaving to his outside. Farnham and Jones, row 4. Hoddick and Turkey, row 5. Let's do it. A quick fire it up. The Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 Sprint Car.
Calvin, I just got goosebumps watching Liam Martin slide Jordan Thomas and Josh Hansen slide the Cobra, Chuck Heaving.
The drivers here at Ohsweken Speedway, we talked about this earlier tonight, have stepped up their game when the visitors come to town. Travis Cunningham slow to the infield. He'll come to a stop, will remain to the green, but it's Liam Martin out in front over Jordan Thomas.
Martin has opened up about half a straightaway lead, Tommy. I see you watching with intent eyes. What are you seeing out there?
Well, I see lap traffic coming quickly into play here for Liam Martin already. He can see the tail of the field just 4 laps into this one, and Martin's going to have to contend with that traffic. Jordan Thomas starting to run him back down again, but he cannot get through corner 2 very well.
Yeah, the guy he's about to lap 1 2 weeks ago at Brighton Speedway. And here he goes to the outside of Dale Gosselin in 1 and 2, running that extreme outside line. Down the backstretch he goes and puts a gap even further between he and Jordan Thomas.
Whoa, Corey Turner, hang on to it. Just about clobbered the wall in turn number 2. And I was going to say, I don't see anybody out there running comfortable laps all the way around. Everyone is having to compromise or pedal or figure out how to manhandle their car or lady handle their car, rather how they didn't make it around this racetrack.
Yeah, definitely the track is slicking off quickly. It's changed dramatically just in these first few laps. Up front now it is still the 9 of Martin, but look at Thomas right there now as they try to get through traffic.
While we watch that, the point leader, Mitch Brown, along with Corey Turner back there, 12th and 15th. So they're struggling a bit to work their way through the field as it's all Liam Martin, but Thomas right there on his tail tank.
Jordan Thomas took an interesting line down in 1 and 2. That allowed Liam Martin to really pull away down the backstretch. But as they encounter traffic, it is all about timing and making the right decision in a split second. And as I say that, Liam Martin has to take evasive action to avoid Kyle Phillips.
Yeah, the front wing on Phillips' car is flipped upside down, so he is not handling the way he wants to out there. as the leaders try to get around him. Martin still hasn't quite cleared the 21 of Phillips.
And both drivers up in corner 2 kind of burned it up over the ridge there and lost some speed, but it's still Liam Martin as he worked to the outside of Phillips. Phillips doing a nice job maneuvering that car with that nose wing flopped over, as the leader now will work to lap the 14H of Jim Hoopaden.
They just reached the halfway mark of this race, so laps are now counting down as Jordan Thompson, about 6 car lengths behind the race leader Liam Martin. He drove it deep into 1 and 2, closed up a couple of car lengths. Liam Martin gets them back down the backstretch.
I get the feeling Thomas has decided to just kind of bide his time a little bit here. He had a couple runs on Martin and couldn't get it done, and now he's going to try to ride back there, keep Martin in sight. Still another 10 laps left to go in this one.
Koberchuk Hebing right now sits in the 3rd spot, and he's got a big gap ahead of Ryan Conium in 4th. Josh Hansen rides in 5th, but here's the battle for the lead. Thomas at the line, has the top spot, pinches Martin down, and he'll scoot away off of corner 2.
He really squeezed down on Liam Martin down into turn number 1. Martin had to pitch that car right sideways. In fact, Liam Martin looks to be battling a loose condition right now behind the wheel of that 9 machine.
All these drivers out here learning a little bit, learning what they can for tomorrow night, but tonight a big one as well. Points on the line and $3,000 to the winner. And right now Thomas is driving away from Martin and the rest of the field.
Jordan Thomas looking to pick up the win here tonight as we watch Liam Martin try and reel him in.
How about Chris Jones behind the wheel of the 11J, racing his way up to the 4th position? We've not seen him run this good all year long.
No, and you documented that earlier in the night. They've definitely found something for this number 11J.
Right behind them, they are swapping sliders. It is hot and heavy between Josh Hansen in the 88, Paulie Colagiovanni in the 10, the 46 of Ryan Conium, and all of this is just behind that 11J of Chris Jones.
The top wing on the 70 car, Bailey Hurd, is starting to come apart, so we'll keep an eye on that as Thomas continues to lead here. Going to put a lap on Ryan Turner in a minute, so surprising there, Turner not able to make his way forward.
Jordan Thomas is not running comfortable laps right now. He just about blew it off the top of the racetrack in 3 and 4 last time, but it'll be 2 laps to go, Greg Calnan.
Here he comes across the line, and he will lap Ryan Turner, as Tommy just mentioned. That's a shocker right there, the way that 15 car's been running. He'll try and get back by him, but a big lead right now for Jordan Thomas.
Josh Hansen has come back up and passed Chris Jones for that spot. Colagiovanni did as well, but Jones got it back. 1 more lap to go for Jordan Thomas, who is in the heated battle with lap cars down into 3 and 4.
Off of corner 4 for the final time. Checkers out, and Jordan Thomas will pick up the win. Second at the line will go to Liam Martin over the Koberchuk Hebing, who closed the gap on him. Then 5th, make that 4th at the line. Josh Hansen just narrowly over Paulie Colagiovanni and Chris Jones with a 3-car battle there. Ryan Conium 7th, DJ Christie 8th, Linton Jeffrey 9th, and Aaron Turkey in 10th. So Jordan Thomas out of Harding, Pennsylvania picks up the win tonight with the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 Sprint Car Series.
In that battle for the 4th spot, they absolutely dropped the gloves on the final lap.
So good to see Chris Jones up running where we know he can run. They figured something out on that car. That 11J just misses a top 5, but he ran within it almost the entirety of that race. So great run for Chris Jones as Jordan Thomas, Liam Martin, and Chuck Hebing will make their way down to Quick Wick Firestarter Victory Lane as Lone Wolf Fireworks lights up the sky here in celebration of the win for Jordan Thomas out of Pennsylvania.
I stand by my comment when we were doing that Quick Wick Fire It Up to open that race. How exciting was it to watch Josh Hansen and Liam Martin both give slide jobs to 2 of the biggest names in our sport. It's just exciting to see where this division is right now at Ohsweken. Clinton Jeffrey is in Quick Wick Victory Lane.
Didn't mean to steal the fireworks thunder like that, but Liam Martin in to shake Jordan Thomas's hand here. Cobra. Chuck Heaving in here as well. We'll get Jordan Thomas out of the car. He'll grab the Knights of Thunder sword, climb up top. How about it, Ohsweken Speedway, for your feature winner? It is a Quick Fire Starter Victory Lane visit for Jordan Thomas. Here he comes up top, ladies and gentlemen. Let him know you like it. Jordan gets the sword and picks up the feature win here for the Knights of Thunder. And you don't think these Hoosiers are working hard? Smoking away there, steaming. We'll get Jordan out front here. Jordan, congratulations. Welcome back here to Ohsweken Speedway. Great to have you back here. You know, talk about your drive. Flawless here. But, man, they make you work on these weekends. Lap traffic was not easy for you to navigate tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely tricky, and this is Ohsweken Speedway that I'm really not used to. But it definitely suits my driving style. Either way, we're pretty good. And, you know, I've been running a lot here lately the past 3 weeks with the All-Stars. Can't thank Clayton Snow enough. And, you know, just laps in the seat pay off. And, yeah, the lap cars kind of fell my way. And I know the 9, he was kind of didn't know which way to go, and he was running the top there quite a bit. And stuck my nose in there and stuck. And I saw his nose with, like, 2 laps to go maybe. And it's like, oh, we better hang on for the last lap.
What does this help you for tomorrow?
You know, I don't know if it really helps that much because the track's going to be slick like normal Canadian Nationals. And, you know, either way, we're going to have fun. And we definitely found something on this car here that just needed some tuning on, and we struggled all year. So to bring this up here like this and get a win feels good.
On behalf of all the staff, management, and fans here, thank you for making the effort to cross the border and be with us, Jordan.
All right, thanks, Clint.
Jordan Thomas, our feature winner here, gets it done. We'll get over here and talk to Liam Martin. Liam, another spirited drive for you. I mean, you got to feel good about how your season's been. You're coming on at the right time. Could tomorrow be the pinnacle for you? Could you make it peak at the right time?
We're sure as heck going to try. Tonight was probably a good starter night to build for tomorrow. We'll kind of go off of what we did and maybe change a couple things to be a little bit better and maybe change a little bit of my driving style. I was doing okay, messing up a couple small little pieces of the race, and then I think that's where Jordan got me. He had an unreal car too, and it was a good competitor for sure. Fun battle at the beginning, and I can't complain about that. I'd also like to thank all my sponsors, Nitro 54, Creative Edge, Every Child's Matter Movement. We put this on just for this special race, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, parents, crew, everyone, girlfriend, all of it.
Right on, Liam Martin, one of our young stars in the making here in the 360s. We get over here and talk to Chuck Heaving. Chuck, another one of the Americans that made the way back. Chuck, you were here a couple weeks ago to try and shake things down a bit. Welcome back here to Quick Fire Starter Victory Lane. Obviously, you'd like to be a couple steps up, but maybe you're saving that for tomorrow.
Yeah, track was a little fast tonight compared to last time we were here, but Canadian Nationals is always a lot slipperier. We were hoping we would get that tonight to try to work towards that setup. But, no, we had a good car. Like I say, we were racing with them. I got in the rough a little bit, got myself screwed up. But, no, we were competitive. That's all right. It's got to keep the old guys, keep them young kids going.
Right on. Chuck Heaving will be third tonight. Liam Martin second, and our winner of the Knights of Thunder feature night, Jordan Thomas. We'll be right back live here on G4's TV for the Canadian Crate Nationals presented by Nitro 54 Variety coming up next.
Early man discovered fire, but Quick perfected fire. Quick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without the need for kindling or paper. Find your nearest Quick retailer at quickquick.com.
You're so tasty. Drive me crazy. Ain't nothing I can do.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
So who exactly is Fast Eddie? More than just a man, it's the mindset that runs through our blood like oil through an engine. Whether on the track or on the street, Fast Eddie is the spirit that drives us to go fast and keep going. Born in 1949 with no time to look in the rear-view mirror. Every story is worth telling, and every piece of Fast Eddie apparel has its own. Celebrate our mindset. This is Fast Eddie. This is combustion culture. FastEddieSpeedway.com.
Back live at Ohsweken Speedway, getting ready for our final race of the night, the inaugural Canadian Crate Sprint Cars, the Sprint Car Nationals. As we get ready for them, they're over on the warm-up track, just wrapping things up right now down in Quick Firestarter Victory Lane with the top three from the Pinty's Knights of Thunder 360 Sprint Cars. Again, tomorrow night we'll be back on the air for the 18th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, brought to you by Nitro 54 Variety, Aero Express, and Burger Barn. I want to thank them all for their support of this Sprint Car Weekend, our final one of our 25th season of racing here at Ohsweken Speedway. It has gone by lightning fast. And one more race to go here on this night. It's going to be the biggest one ever for the Crate Sprint Car division here at Ohsweken Speedway.
A lot of money on the line, Greg.
A lot of extra laps, too.
A lot of extra laps, a lot for these drivers to handle here tonight.
And as you're about to say, or an engine is on the line here. So it's money or an engine. That's the. I heard you and Tommy talking about this, and I didn't know this going into tonight. But there's an engine on the line if they choose.
Yeah, they can choose either $5,000 or a crate engine tonight. That's the winner of the feature, that is. And whichever prize doesn't get claimed tonight, the feature winner tomorrow night will get it.
Gotcha.
And there was some discussion on the Action Sprint Tour group chat this week about whether the crate engine or the $5,000 was the better option, and it seemed the consensus seemed to be the crate engine probably was.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. They're going for more than that money, but I guess it depends on what you need at the time. I mean, if you need something to race tomorrow night, you might consider the money.
No, and that's a good point as well. There's something about cash money that's just appealing to just about everybody. But in the big picture,
yeah,
I think a crate engine is worth darn near $8,000 right now.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any sort of
I can talk to
consideration in Victory Lane. I think it'll be a no-brainer, but we'll see.
I was going to call you out, Clinton, but I know that you've got a lot going on, so I didn't want to bother you.
It's all good. A new core crate 602, like you'd put straight in your Thunderstock or your Dirt Car Sports League saw here. We're selling them in-house right now for $7,500. That's before you buy the extra parts to convert it to a sprint car motor and have the folks at DSE throw in the labor to get it done. So you're looking about probably $11,000 to $12,000 right now. It could actually be a better prize than the 360s if they choose the motor tonight.
You're not going to have the motor in Victory Lane, are you, Clint? That'd be kind of cool.
No, we told them at the drivers' meeting the motors are all just around the corner at GSR. If it's not one of the local guys, we'll work with them tomorrow to pick up the motor and get it in their hauler so they can take it back home. So that's where we'll be following that story tonight to see who actually, if they choose the motor or the cash. And why would you choose the cash, right? It's nowhere near the value, but let's say you are going sportsman racing or you're done with crate racing and the sprints and you want to move on to something else. Well, maybe you just take that motor and do what you want with it. But I still think I'm getting converted and trying to sell it, guys.
It's fun to have that choice. It'd be exciting to see what people choose to do. And whoever wins it, I promise you tonight, they will have earned it.
See, now I'm sick and tired of trying to sell things to people on Facebook and Kijiji, so I'm thinking I'll take the cash and not deal with trying to sell this to somebody. I'll give you $2,500 for it.
For your $5,000?
That's Facebook. That's how that works, doesn't it? Oh, my. So cars getting lined up as we do traditionally for the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. We'll do it for our Crate Sprint Car racers here tonight. There you see the Iceman. Johnny Miller getting pushed out to the staging area. What a thrill it was for him a couple of weeks back, getting to run the number 20 360 sprint car, the number 20 in the 360 sprint car division, I should clarify, not the 23. But Johnny Miller got to run that car, and hope to get to see him in it more often because he's just a natural talent. There's four-barrel Daryl Peltier getting the push out as well.
And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've done this sort of a lineup on the front stretch for the crates before.
No, I think this is.
So this is a lot of firsts tonight for the crate sprint car drivers, and we're really featuring them tonight. We've got the format set up just like we would for tomorrow night's 360 Nationals for them. And really wanted to highlight the competition here in the crate sprint car division. 42 cars strong tonight. I did a roster earlier this week, and I think 59 different drivers have run at least one crate race in the province this year. So definitely lots of competition out there.
This division has grown by leaps and bounds very quickly, and had a lot of naysayers in the beginning, but we'll look at it now. There's Rob Neely and his radio shuttle number 74 getting pushed out one by one. Jonah Mutton, one of the Brighton regulars down there, making his way out onto the Speedway. He's done a phenomenal job coming over here to the sprint cars.
Yeah, he's top 6 or 7 in Action Sprint Tour points coming into the night. So definitely a good run for Jonah, just getting into the sprint cars last year.
Passed by Trevor Young there, but there's Tyler Powless, and we talked about him during his heat race. He's really become a contender and really improved from the start of this season to where we are now. Tyler Powless, always quick. Curtis Gartley. I guess he's the wily veteran in this bunch, is he, for Curtis?
Yeah, former 360 driver, and there's a couple of those in the field. Curtis, coming into the night, he told me earlier this week he had never run a B main since joining the crate division after stepping out of the 360 car. And tonight, ran the B main, got in, but a little bit of a stressful night for Curtis and his team out there.
Oh yeah, I'm proud of myself, Greg.
Did Abby just fly under the grandstands?
Yeah, she did.
You never know where that thing's going to wind up.
I don't know how he does it and not get sick.
I don't know how he does it around people and not cut their hair.
There's the Beast, Ashton Van Every. Another driver that's just become a regular competitor now that can compete for wins. There's Abby.
No sudden moves down there. That drone's going right by people on the front stretch.
That's not unnerving at all, is it?
My brother's trying to remain inconspicuous down there. I can see him just sitting there not acknowledging the drone.
Pull the hat down over his eyes. A little lower, a little lower.
Right under, look at that. That's brave.
just a little off the top, please. Oh,
here's the
muffin.
replay. Here's the replay, Adam.
Oh, that was almost nuts.
Oh,
I couldn't help myself.
You ever seen the drone races they have? I think we should put our drone pilot into one of those because I think they could win one.
Clint and I had those conversations, and I think Abby has some history with drone racing. And I don't like the concept. I don't like watching them. I can't keep up with them.
Yeah.
I forget about it. Just tell me who won because I can't watch and understand it myself.
I want to taste Abby's cooking, from what I've heard. Runner-up, I guess. In what show was that?
Chopped?
Was it? Either way, I mean, you could finish last in that show, and you're probably a very good cook, right?
I don't know how you make your mac and cheese, but
I don't either. I just throw the box in the microwave, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that reminds me of a story because we got a couple of minutes. This is years ago.
Come on.
Connor sends me a message, Dad, I want to make hot chocolate. So, all right, we got some mix. Yep. All right, well, put water in the kettle. How do I do it? Put water in the kettle, put it on the stove, turn it on high, wait for it to boil. Forgetting that we have a kettle on the stove and we have an electric kettle next to the sink. So he grabs the electric kettle, sticks it on the stove. You've never smelled anything quite like that. The plastic was melted. His older brother was some kind of ticked. I don't think anyone got hot chocolate.
But the memories.
Yeah, exactly.
And the poisoning. And those toxic fumes.
That was a special kind of smell.
It's minor compared to the Dutch oven.
Well, you know, everyone's got a different idea of home.
So 30 cars getting lined up on the front stretch. That's a first tonight as well. 30 cars starting the feature for a crate sprint car feature.
So, folks, and I know most of you know, but this is going to be a bigger deal tomorrow night because we'll have a bigger crowd, and I think it'll look really cool. But please participate with your cell phones on the 5-wide formation prior to these races. It looks so cool. And the drivers have given us their feedback and said, man, we love it. That looks so amazing. So be ready with your cell phones.
Yeah, they can actually see that. They can't always see people waving in the crowd, but
for sure,
they can see if you're waving a phone for sure.
And I never thought of that. Like when we talked about having fans do that, it never dawned on me, hey, the drivers are going to like this. But the fact that they did makes it even cooler.
Last couple of cars getting into place, and then we'll go through the starting lineup for this biggest event ever for the crate sprint car division here at Ohsweken Speedway. A little bit of history being made here tonight as the drivers will all park themselves on the right front tire and get ready to be introduced.
One of the biggest events ever at Ohsweken Speedway is going to be us carving into this cake right after the show tonight. Bunch of Tasmanian devils.
You got to get that in before you weigh in tomorrow.
Yep.
Really, you shouldn't have it. Maybe I should just take it home. I'm here for you, Adam.
It's going to be
they
a
said
challenge.
It was for all of us? I don't remember that part.
Well, all of me is going to enjoy it.
Darren probably deserves a little slice for listening to you two.
I think so.
Well, Ohsweken fans, we'll ask you, are you ready to go crate racing? This is the first ever Canadian Crate Nationals. How about a hand for all of the competitors across North America that competed in the crate sprints this season? We got the best of the best here to get ready to go. Adam, Greg, Tommy, you guys ready for the starting lineup? Because we're ready down here trackside.
Let's give it to you. Starting on the outside of row 15 from Ohsweken, the original Traders Energy, Bickles Hardware and Supply, number 77E, Ashton Van Every. Starting 29th from Salmon Arm, British Columbia, the 7-Star Express Line, Shane Renovations 26, John Verney. Queen John Verney.
Starting 28th out of Thamesford, Ontario, driving the Vipon, Dottie Creek Agri-Services, car number 45, Curtis Gartley. Starting 27th out of Ohsweken in the Canada Fuels Nitro 54 variety, number 9C, Brian Nanticoke.
Rolling off 26th from Brockville, Ontario, the Serpent Truck Stop, Tim Covell Snap-on number 52B, Matt Billings. And to his inside from Ohsweken, the JR's Riverside Bait and Tackle 77T, Tyler Paulus.
Starting 24th out of Ancaster in car number 51, Trevor Young. Starting 23rd from Brighton, driving the Apex Sandblasting and Painting, Peacemaker 420-39, Jonah Mutton.
I didn't know it was a formal event. Nice fire suit. Starting 22nd from Rockwood, Ontario, the Radio Shuttle, Neely Auto 74, Rob Neely. And on the inside of row 11, from Waterloo, the Velocity Mechanics Inc., ILA Sports number 19D, Alan Downey.
On the outside of row number 10, from Brantford in the Burger Barn, Ace 1 Construction, 88, Lance Erskine. Starting 19th, out of Port Perry in the Town Line MFG Brass, Bonsma Brothers Concrete Pumping 4B, 4-barrel Daryl Peltier.
Starting 18th, from Rockwood, Ontario, the Beaver Builders, Neely Auto number 94, Ryan Fraser. Starting 17th, from Six Nations, the Styes Tree Service, Enriam Dynamics number 20, it's the Iceman, Johnny Miller.
Starting 16th from Listowel in car number 97, Sheldon Bender. And starting 15th out of Thamesford in the Oakwood Transport Fast Track Performance, car number 7, Eric Gledhill.
Starting 14th from Waterdown, Ontario, the Mahoney Inspection, Stenhouse Signs, number 5C, Connor Mahoney. He's like one of those troll pencils. If you spin him real fast, the hair does that. Starting 13th from Woodstock, the CCEX, Herx Truck Center, number 29, Tyler Ward.
Starting 12th out of Kitchener in the 50 LS, Adrian Staley. And to his inside, starting in the 11th spot from Port Colborne in the Juniors Riverside Bait and Tackle, 16R, Seth Roy.
Now, race fans, your top 10 on the outside of row number 5 from Pierreville, Quebec. The Bardier Buildings, JMV Ontario number 19, Matthew Bardier. Starting 9th, our track champion from Brantford, the National Building Group, JDL Distributing number 49L, Lucas Smith.
Starting in 8th out of Thamesford in the Oakwood Transport AV Utility, number 14, Larry Gledhill. Starting in 7th out of Alexandria in the Gators Metal Recycling Mr. Radiator Auto Service, car number 51L, the General Lee Ladisseur.
Starting 6th from Thamesford, Ontario, the Oakwood Transport, DNO Towing, number 52, Jesse Costa. Rolling off 5th from Port Colborne, Ontario, the Maverick Real Estate, Dow Auto, number 5D, Jacob Dykstra.
Starting in 4th out of St. Catharines in the Seaway Fluid Power Ryco, number 71, Mike Bowman. Starting in third, out of Bowmanville, in car number 31, Dale Curran. You're welcome, Darren.
Now, race fans, your front row. Boy, does he look relaxed. From Freelton, Ontario, the MS Road Solutions, DJD Graphics number 12, Double D, Darren Dryden. And your pole sitter. From Georgetown, Ontario, driving the 2M, Steve Murdock. Ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for the Canadian Crate Sprint Car Nationals.
30 cars, 30 laps the distance as these drivers now will get buckled up and ready to go. And I've got to make a correction because when we got to Lance Erskine, I flubbed his sponsors. We had the previous sponsors on his cars. So Connell's Construction and Clay Bar Contracting proudly sponsoring Lance Erskine in his number 88. We want to make sure we get those sponsors in because they are big supporters of what Lance Erskine does. So Connell's Construction and Clay Bar Contracting supporting Lance Erskine tonight in the 88 as he goes from the 20th position.
I was thinking the same thing with Jacob Dykstra because obviously it's the JR's Riverside Bait and Tackle, Paulus Racing number 5D. But I read what's on the screen.
So drivers getting buckled up, and we'll take a quick break here on G-Force TV. When we come back, we'll get these cars rolling and ready to go with the first ever Canadian Crate Nationals.
Early man discovered fire, but Quick Quick perfected fire. Quick Quick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without the need for kindling or paper. Find your nearest Quick Quick retailer at quickquick.com.
You're so tasty. Drive me crazy. Crazy, crazy. Ain't nothing I can do.
On the scene since 1949, Fast Eddie was born with a lead foot and a burning need for speed. His passion for speed and sport has been captured in this authentic collection of vintage-themed gear. Created for gearheads, riders, and racers, Fast Eddie truly encompasses the great Canadian racing culture we have from coast to coast. Drive hard, get dirty, and look good doing it. Fast Eddie Speedwear. Get geared up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on G-Force TV.
Welcome back to Ohsweken Speedway. It's the first ever Canadian Crate Nationals. Fans, are you ready to go? Let's hear the TV crowds watching. Let's make some noise. Are you ready? All right, I think they're good. Let's go. Calling those push trucks. 3, 2, 1, let's push these cars. Here come the push trucks down from turn number 4. We'll get them fired off. Then we'll get them ready to go. They'll do a 4 wide. We'll throw up the fireworks and get it rolling in the first ever Canadian Crate Nationals, guys. I'm super excited. It's been a couple years in the works, and it's finally time to get it on.
I'm excited for these drivers that they get a marquee event to be a part of, and these drivers can all now say they're a part of history. They were in that first ever event, and the way that this division grows and grows and grows, it's going to become harder and harder and harder to get into these A mains, and through the years we'll start naming off drivers that have made all of the A mains as history goes on. And for some of these drivers, these are the only ones that are ever going to be able to say I was in every one of them.
Adam, I just want to talk about how important this race is for the health of the division across North America. More and more track continue to buy in. We've got a lot of drivers down at Brockville on the fence at Can-Am trying to figure out, in these marquee events that they can be a part of are going to help draw them to this class. And so this is a major event here tonight in the future of the crate class.
The future is now. Away we go, and this is where it's at. And talking about how challenging it is to qualify, there are very few race divisions going right now where you can say all of the cream of the crop, the elite drivers, have failed to qualify at some point or another. We went an entire season, and the only driver to qualify for every race that season was Lucas Smith in the 49L. And how many drivers did we have race that year? 40?
Yeah. That's how tough it was.
Everybody in the class knows what it feels like to load the car before the feature. And sometimes they go to the grandstands in the pits to watch. Sometimes they drive away. They go home to get ready for next week.
50-50 tonight, $1,751.
How much is that?
$1,751.
Wow, well done. Did we have a 50-50, Clint, this year that was under $1,000?
I'm not Clint, but no.
If we did,
I wasn't talking to you,
last
Greg.
week, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we were north of 1,000 every night, and the 50-50 crew did an amazing job. I mean, as manager, that was one thing I was trying to figure out, and they came to bat and really knocked it out of the park for us.
Cars continue to be pushed off. Everyone so far taking the push. Cars taking fire.
I want to give a shout out to Tim Jamieson and his crew. They helped out this week, I guess, with some of the fireworks that Dynamite Dave needed help securing. So thanks to Tim and crew for helping out with that.
What a sight. One of those drivers we talk about, who would have thought all season long we talked about Brett Stratford being on the verge of victory. It's almost inconceivable. He was on the front straightaway.
Yeah.
Getting a cash award before the show.
That's a heartbreaker. That's a hard one to take, and definitely disappointed. Happy for the drivers that make this show, but he was the one that I thought coming into tonight, this is maybe it, the longer distance, and I thought this is a special night for Brett Stratford to get it done, and unfortunately it's not going to happen, but his time is definitely coming. It's not a matter of if, it's that cliche, it's a matter of when, but it's so true with Brett Stratford, and so talented.
He bailed me out of a jam. Brett Stratford did. I stopped by his place in Waynfleet at WeldStar. Had to get some welding done on my work truck, and he was kind enough to do that for me. He did mention at one point, he says, I've got a 3-month waiting list, right? I sure do. Thanks for helping me out on lunch.
And you got a telesketch or whatever you call it out of it.
That's right. Lisa, get the gift. And Brett says, I have no idea what this is about, but I know Lisa's pretty excited. We have amazing friends, amazing fans, all part of the family.
So again, folks, we want to make sure you get those cell phones out and ready. Get that flashlight app at the ready. As it looks like we're getting ready to get these cars into formation for the salute to you, the fans. And with 30 cars,
it's the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, where 4 wide is not quite enough, Greg.
Well, looks like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I think we'll save 5 for tomorrow, but you never know. Doug might have something up his sleeve here.
All right, folks, get on your feet, get your hats and programs, wave them onto these drivers, your flashlights at the ready. They are 4 wide and fancy for you, the fans. This is the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals, brought to you by Nitro 54 Variety. All right, backstretch, your turn. Oh, they're lit up back there now. Their cell phones, too.
I'd see what you did there.
Wave them on. 30 laps, longest race of the year, the highest paying race of the year, and the most prestigious. All the bragging rights right here tonight. Now, Tommy, coming into tonight, it's a big event for these drivers, a lot of money and all that we just talked about. The season's long from over for the Action Sprint Tour, even though we're done here at Ohsweken.
Well, 4 races left, starting with tonight. 2 here and 2 at Humberstone in a couple of weeks. So championship points on the line as well. Jacob Dykstra comes into the night 58 points ahead of Matthew Bardier. And so we'll keep an eye on those proceedings as the night goes on, too.
All right, white flag being displayed to the field. Next time by, we'll go green flag racing. 30 laps the distance in the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals. 2x2. 15 rows of beautifully prepared sprint cars ready to come to life. Steve Murdock and Darren Dryden are on the front row as the Strickland Pace truck will pull off on the backstretch. Dave Hunsinger with green flag in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, you came looking for a show. Well, here you go. Let's end all the anticipation as we bring to you our feature presentation. They rumble, bumble, stumble down into corners 1 and 2, and all 4 wide, 5 wide in some spots. 3-car battle for the lead.
Wow, Darrell Peltier just made a wild move to go around the outside of Tyler Ward. Ward is in trouble down in 3 and 4 in that 29W. Darren Dryden with the lead. Mike Bowman putting on the pressure.
Yeah, Ward did not get going on that start, so he will pull it to the infield. Not in a very safe position there. We'll see what the officials think of that one, as Bowman is right on the tail tank of Darren Dryden.
He slips down to the inside in corner 2, put Bowman to the top of the board now as they go into 3. Now the caution flag will come for Tyler Ward, so that should hand the lead back to Darren Dryden as Ward comes to a stop just outside of victory lane. We'll see if we can get that car refired or if he will be done for the night, but Darren Dryden will go back to the top of the leaderboard.
After such an amazing qualifying heat for Tyler Ward in the 29W, his car came up lame in turn number 2. Darrell Peltier narrowly avoided collision with Ward. Connor Mahoney taking his 5-machine pit side.
Well, guys, the situation with the Ward 29W, it just popped out of gear, so it'll get pushed off and get fired up. Should be able to get right back into this one.
but he goes from the 13th starting spot. He is going to restart 29th.
You know, that was one of the cool things in going down the lineup and shaking everybody's hand. You know, shaking hands with Tyler Ward and, you know, four-barrel Darryl Pelche. These guys were rookies and rough a couple years ago, and here they are starting in the top 15, 16 cars at the Canadian Crate Nationals.
I'll tell you what, Clinton, the best thing you can build, it doesn't matter if you're a race car driver or not, the best thing you can build is character. And the way you have to work for a starting spot in this class, it builds character. It measures the tenacity of a race car driver. So if you stick it out, I can't think of anybody who has raced for any length of time in our crate sprints and not stayed bad off the pace. They learn.
It's all about seat time. We heard Jordan Thomas just get done talking about that in Victory Lane with the 360s. Seat time is so valuable, and some nights it probably really stinks running into B main night after night after night after night, but that is such a lesson. And here, especially in the crate sprint car division, those B mains are not small. You have that opportunity to run in what is truly a feature event, although it is the B main. It helps the drivers continue up the ladder.
So Tyler Ward, that 29W, continuing to have troubles. Clint, what's going on?
Yeah, so it popped out of gear, then it wouldn't fire for him. It stalled in turn 3. Then he said, I want my 2 minutes in the work area, but because he already was in that position, he cannot get his 2 minutes in the work area because he already got pushed. So he was offered his 2 minutes on this caution. He said no, at which point he is done, not because he's done, but because the car won't fire and he can't get another 2 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yes and no.
So you only get 1 2 minute per caution, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Well, so he declined it. He was the cause of the yellow. So we can't have anybody out here just being pushed off, stopping, and then saying, okay, now I want my 2 minutes. You get one choice. He negated it, so now he's in the pits with no guarantee of time.
Well, we'll see what happens here quickly. In those 2 laps, Curtis Gartley made up 9 spots in 2 laps, so keep an eye on the orange 45 car back there as we get set back to go.
Single file past the restart cone. Let's do a quick fire it up as they get back under power. Up and around goes Matt Billing. That will bring out the red flag as we got the field bearing down on Matt Billings here on the front stretch. Well, they quickly put it under the caution rather than the red.
I'll bet you, no, some people saw.
Yeah, now we need to go red so that.
Yeah, once a couple's 1 or 2 stop, you've got to do it for all. It wouldn't surprise me if Matt Billings is able to restart this race.
No, it's not.
No?
Left side doesn't look that good. He's got a flat left rear, among other problems here on this car. The car took a heck of a hop and a bounce at him and took a good chunk here out of the front stretch. Yeah, the nose looks not horrible.
Back end took a
the
really
left
hard
rear
hit.
is where the problem is, and Matt's already got the Hans device off and looking for the hook, so he'll be done here early. And kind of a violent roll, jump, kind of a bunny hop here. I don't think he went right over, did he? Crinkled the wing, but.
Yeah, sort of did a corkscrew. He got tied up with one of the 77 machines. And as we watch this replay, it's way up at the top of the screen.
Yeah, so we see got some damage here, guys. You got a rim that's out, and the rear end is all tore up in the car, guys. So, yeah, broken rear end here on the 52. It won't be able to continue.
So that's a real tough break for Billings, who coming into the night would have been considered one of the favorites for sure to win tonight. Second place in one of his starts earlier this year here at Ohsweken. And he and car owner Ryan Hunsinger, I know, were we're really looking forward to this night, and it doesn't end the way that he would like.
No, they've formed a great partnership, Billings and Ryan Hunzinger. I believe I saw it out the corner of my eye, and I think it was Ashton Van Every, but whoever it was came off of turn 4. I think lower than Billings had expected, and he tried to avoid, but got himself crossed up and didn't end well.
Yeah, you could see Ashton Van Every there in the replay just briefly as Billings went for that ride. So 3 complete, 27 to go here. And originally the red flag had flown. A few cars did happen to see that. As we'll watch a replay here again. Right there, and it's Ashton Van Every that comes out of there on the outside, and I think you called it best, Adam. He was there, and Matt trying to avoid him, and Jonah Mutton getting ready to be pushed off.
Mutton did some adjusting in the car on his safety equipment because he's just putting his gloves back on. Everything happens in a specific order. Your helmet getting done up, your Hans device being put on, your gloves, your belts. Clinton, what's up?
Lance Erskine has just asked for his 2 minutes in the work area, so they'll push the 88 car back there right now. So they'll work on that one as fast as they can.
So when you have an issue with, say, your seat belts, but you put your seat belts on before you do up your helmet and put on your gloves, you got to take your gloves off to get your seat belts sorted out. And you got, you know what I mean? It's all a process, and race car drivers are creatures of habit. They do things one way and one way only.
So we'll take a quick break as we will have a work area situation going on with Lance Erskine. We'll be right back here on GeForce TV.
Early man discovered fire, but Quick perfected fire. Quick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without the need for kindling or paper. Find your nearest Quick retailer at quickquick.com.
You're so tasty. Drive me crazy. Ain't nothing I can do.
On the scene since 1949, Fast Eddie was born with a lead foot and a burning need for speed. His passion for speed and sport has been captured in this authentic collection of vintage-themed gear. Created for gearheads, riders, and racers, Fast Eddie truly encompasses the great Canadian racing culture we have from coast to coast. Drive hard, get dirty, and look good doing it. Fast Eddie Speedwear. Get geared up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
Back live at Ohsweken Speedway for the running of the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals. Back under the caution flag, cars rolling now with 3 laps on the board and 27 to go. It's been an eventful first 3 laps. Tyler Ward brought out the first caution at the drop of the green flag. Came to a stop, could not get that car to fire up. And then we had this most recent problem with Matt Billings flipping off of corner number 4. Lance Erskine has since gone to the pit area to use his 2 minutes in the work area, and that's where we stand right now after this commercial break. I'm Greg Kellman, with me Adam Ross, Tommy Gooch back in the tower with us tonight, and Clinton Jeffrey down trackside, as we'll be here all weekend long tomorrow night, back on the air, ready to go with the 18th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, brought to you by Nitro 54 Variety, Burger Barn, and Aero Express. Can't do it without our great sponsors here at Ohsweken Speedway.
You said it, Greg. From humble beginnings, the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals getting bigger and bigger each year.
Which was originally the Canadian Sprint Car Championship, which was, now, SOS was involved with that. Was Sprints on Dirt the other?
Well,
there's some other.
The original race preceding the Nationals was an SOS race.
Okay.
And then 2005, they brought together all the sanctions, Sprints on Dirt, ESS, Patriots, SOS into one group, and then we had Kenny Jacobs show up and blow all the sanctions away. But yeah, it started out as the SOS Championship, then they called it the Canadian Sprint Car Championship, and then they called it the Nationals once we got all the other sanctions involved.
And here we are, and now we've got this new event, and it's ready to come back to the green flag, the Canadian Crate Nationals. Darren Dryden, Mike Bowman head down into corner one.
Bowman immediately to the outside in that 71 machine with Darren Dryden. Oh, we got trouble in turn 2. Wow, what a save by Gledhill in the 7. I thought he was going to go for a wild tumble after getting mixed up with Curtis Gartley in the 45.
Brian Nanticoke, he and another car, and I'm not sure who the other one was off the top of my head, but they had contact trying to avoid Gartley, and now he has come to a stop in corner 3.
You can hear Doug's voice, the race director, through our nice wall that we have here, and Doug's telling everybody to give each other a little bit more room out there, as it has been close quarters for the first few laps here.
Can't we all just get along?
Well, it's one of those nights, right, where you do things completely different than any other night. We line them up on the front stretch. There's a lot of money on the line and all that prestige we talked about, but sometimes that ratchets up those drivers and gets them a little more on the edge and a little less patient in the early laps. Clint?
Yeah, I just wanted to show you, this is the 9C of Brian Nanticoke. The frame rail's dragging on the track here, so something in the rear suspension has broken and let that left side droop on the track. He was dragging all the way down the back straightaway here. He motioned, is it a flat tire? We give them a no. She's broke, Brian. So this will be the end of the Nanticoke car tonight, guys.
Curtis Gartley out of his number 45. His night ends prematurely as well. Too much damage on that machine for him to be able to continue.
So a tough break for Curtis, who we mentioned had made up 9 spots in the first 2 laps, and it all goes for naught now.
Larry Gledhill in the 7 going back up to take his position. He had some violent bounces after making contact with Curtis Gartley in that number 45. Mike Bowman's got to be wondering what he needs to do. He's passed Darren Dryden 2 or 3 times in this race, but none of them count.
And we're still on the same lap, lap 3 with 27 to go, so Mike will have to try again as they get Brian Nanticoke hooked up on the rear end now.
Brian Nanticoke just got out, so I broke a hind joint on the left rear, so that's about a $10 part that cost you $5,000.
Wild.
Brian, what's the story on the 9? What broke?
I didn't hear you.
What broke?
Heim joint on the rear end on the torsion arm.
Thanks, Brian. I just told him that.
And I got a text from the boss, Glenn Steyer, saying Ken Pelkey and Cheryl Pelkey came up with the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals back in the day. It's good to know the boss listens. It's also a little bit scary to know that the boss listens.
Doesn't listen all the time, I hope.
We're still here, aren't we? I think that answers your question.
Oh.
Sometimes he looks at us a bit cockeyed, but most of the time he's all right with it.
Well done. I see what you did there.
So it looks like we're going to do single file restart on this one. The cone out on the front stretch.
Darren Dryden continues to inherit the lead in the number 12, the 71 of Mike Bowman. He's been racy on these restarts. Jesse Costa in the 52. What a mixed bag in that top 5. Steve Murdock in the 2M, Dale Curran in the 31.
Yeah, Jesse Costa back in his own 52 car after a few years in the Bar Motorsports car, so that's a bit of a different look as well.
Darren Dryden has been going extremely slow on these restarts, allowing the field to bunch up. And as you watch the accordion, the farther back in the field you look, as they accelerate to catch up, they all have to hit the brakes to avoid stacking up. We're back under green.
Darren Dryden riding that inside. Here comes Bowman with a head of steam off of corner 2, but Darren Dryden will match that. Now it's Bowman on the bottom in 3 and 4 as Murdock slides up the hill in 3.
Oh.
3 cars got together right behind him. It was Smith, Lattiser, and Roy.
I'll tell you, if you want to watch the show, boys, watch Matthew Bardier in the 19 coming from the back, and you could just see the attitude of that car. He's up on the wheel, ready to make things happen, Tommy.
Yeah, Bardier could be one of those drivers we look to try to win the Hard Charger Award, if not more. Up front, top 3 very close together up there. Dryden still has the lead. Second, Bowman. Third is Costa in the 52. They run single file down the front stretch with 6 laps on the board.
Look who's up into the top 5. Dale Curran battling back and forth with Steve Murdock. Curran hot off his first win down at Brighton Speedway as we come through corner 4. Here comes Bowman to the outside of Dryden.
Not much there to work with for Mike Bowman, but he got it right up on the right rear of the 12 Double D of Darren Dryden, getting a good run off the corner, but Darren Dryden taking a shorter distance around and making pretty good speed down low.
Bowman got up a little bit too close to the wall there, I think, that time, but it paid off. Gets a good run down into turn number 1. Can't make the move stick, though, as traffic now is going to loom for the leaders here. Bowman to the inside again, trying to take the lead from Dryden.
Fastest lap in the top 4 is the guy charging in towards the top 3. It's Jacob Dykstra riding in that 4th position. He's reeling in Jesse Costa. The top 4 nose to tail heading into 3.
I like the line Darren Dryden's running. It's around the middle, so he's been up high, he's been in the middle. The only place we haven't seen him try is right down low as he got a little loose there in turn 2, scrubbed off some speed.
Dryden threads the needle through the traffic there as he tries to get around Trevor Young and Jonah Mutton. Bowman going to follow him through, but Dryden's going to try to make some hay here in this traffic. Dykstra now gets around the 52 of Costa. And is that, no, Erskine is not on the lead lap, so put Dykstra up into the 3rd spot now.
Yeah, Murdock right behind them right now in that 5th spot. Lee Lattiser riding in the 6th position, having a good solid outing. As it's Darren Dryden right now working past Tyler Powless. Bowman on the outside trying to work by those 2 lap cars between he and the leader.
Dryden had some trouble getting around the Powless machine. That allows Bowman to draw a little closer. Jacob Dykstra right there in the mix as well. What a move by Darren Dryden on Bardier, and Bardier's having none of it.
Bardier came in 2nd in the points, so he wants to try to stay on the lead lap. I was just about to say Murdock was making a comeback here in the 2M, but now the yellow is out. A car way up against the wall outside of turn 4. It looks like maybe Lucas Smith.
What a break that is for Bardier. Matthew Bardier just went a lap down, but they will go back to the last completed lap. They'll get to go to the tail end of the field and try to make up positions.
So a tough break for Lucas Smith, the track champion here in 2022, and he's looking to move up to 360s next year. So Smith wanted to have a good run here tonight and get a good payday to put towards that 360 program.
Rob Neely has rolled to a stop at the exit of turn 4. So problem on that radio shuttle number 74 machine for Rob Neely. That guy's done some racing in a lot of different places.
Well, Lucas Smith was out of his car, guys. He's back in the car now, so that tells us there may not be major damage on the car. I don't even think it kissed the wall here much at all.
If he didn't hit the wall, Clinton, he certainly had a moment standing on the brake pedal because he has pointed directly at the hay bales. So Darren Dryden continues to lead in the 12 Double D. Mike Bowman in the 71 is second. The 5D, Jacob Dykstra is third. Telestrated in everything. Keep your eye on the right side of the screen.
Well, no, they put the hook on the 49L here, so the champ not going to be able to continue, guys. He looks like he'll be done for the moment.
He had to have lost steering. Just watching what happened on that replay, Clinton, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, he just got up over the banking in turn 3 and continued on straight towards the wall.
So trying to lift the car up here. Lucas is back in the cockpit, but not sure what the plan is just yet.
So it looks like Neely got refired in the 74.
To take you through the running order, Matthew Bardier, the last car on the lead lap, down in the 20th spot. '19th spot, sorry. So 19 cars remain on the lead lap.
This track definitely having a bit of an old school feel here tonight. You can see the moisture is coming back up through the surface as the track was more black during the 360 feature than it is now. There's a lot of parts of this that the brown has come back to it.
And that is something, especially at the bookends of the season. In the hot summer months, we don't see that an awful lot, but in September, this is a different racetrack.
Little issue there trying to get Lucas Smith pulled away, and he quickly motioned to the safety crew to just hold up there. So something not quite right as they try towing him away. So that continues to keep us under the caution flag a little bit longer.
Don't know how many laps these cars can go. Tommy, is that something you know? Like, how many yellow flag laps do we have to run before fuel becomes a concern?
I don't know the number, but I know that Doug definitely keeps count of it over there in the tower. So we must not be very close to it yet, because I haven't heard him say anything about that.
I don't think we're close on that. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. Now they got the Lucas Smith car hitched up how Lucas would like, and he's going to get the tow back. Now, guys, I'm going to show you something here when we get a break, but I got to walk the field go by. That ridge you were asking about, Adam, has gotten treacherous here in the middle of 3 and 4. It has turned into a crevice that you're not going to believe. And I can't believe they'll do it, but the rest of the track is tacky. It's your classic Ohsweken comeback. Jack, get on that side and shoot this way. Guys, I don't know if you're seeing this, but look at how smooth it is right here. But look at this gap I'm in. It's up to my shin, mid-shin here, and it's a heck of a ridge here. So if you can slide your back end on there and make it work, but you hit that wrong, you're going up there, and you just look at how deep that really is, guys.
I was talking about fuel, and then I looked at my son's message about fuel. He got a little bit mad saying I stole his intelligence for my own, but I had actually already thought about it, son, so you just settle down and elevate.
I thought you were reading your phone as you came up with that thought, but just fuel the fire.
So Jack just started playing football this week. I showed him Connor's pictures. I'm like, you see that, bud? You still want to play football?
Oh, man, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. Love that sport.
All right, ready to go again. 16 laps left to settle it. Darren Dryden and Mike Bowman head down into corner 1, and it was Jacob Dykstra that was closing in on the top 2 before we went yellow.
Halfway through, 15 laps down, 15 laps to go. Bowman again to the inside.
Oh, big wreck.
Powless upside down in corner 4.
And we've got one up. Is there one up into the fence?
No.
Yeah, it is hard to see from up here, but it looks like a single car at the moment.
Tyler Paulus. I believe he wants to be put back on all fours, but safety crew is on the scene.
Yep, they're already going to flip him over. That's always a good sign when the safety crew runs up there and flips the car back over. That usually means the driver is doing okay.
Yeah, Clinton Jeffrey is on the scene, and there is a process that they go to. So folks, you often see these cars put back on all four wheels. They cannot and will not do that until they talk to the driver, make sure that they have a good sense that the driver is coherent and not injured.
Well, guys, look at this. You got all kinds. Every corner's just destroyed on this car. I mean, there's nothing left of it. The motor may still be able to run, but wing punch down, everything's just destroyed up on this car. As you can see, a heck of a wreck. We'll get over here and talk to Tyler. Are you okay, man?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. He's all right. You're going to take a walk back with the safety crew. And as you guys can see, it is a disaster over here. This car is just wrecked.
That speed shot on the front stretch has captured some action for us here tonight. So it's not exactly in high definition, but at least we get a look at what has been going on. And that was a violent series of flips for Tyler Paulus there in 3 and 4. Have a look at the replay again from that speed shot. That car just dug in and the tumble began.
Along for the ride at that point, and that was a vicious set of flips for Tyler Paulus.
Look around here, Greg. Like, this car is just messed. I mean, the left side tires are about the only thing that are going to live to see another race here.
Man. But again, Tyler was very quick to motion and wanted the car flipped back over, so that was a great sign to see him quickly motioning.
It's got to be an awful feeling when you're laying there upside down in one of those cars. I thankfully have not experienced that, but even if you are not feeling the greatest, I'm sure that you want to get flipped over anyway, even if you are nursing an injury.
Well, that's why you can't just rush up there and flip the car, even if the driver's given that signal. The safety crew does have some discretion to talk to them first. And once they feel comfortable that can take place, they'll get it back on all four wheels.
So once again, we'll have to get cars pushed off and fired off, ready to go with 15 laps left to go as we take a look at that other chunk down there. But we'll take a quick break here on G-Force TV and come back with 15 laps to go here in the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals.
On the scene since 1949, Fast Eddie was born with a lead foot and a burning need for speed. His passion for speed and sport has been captured in this authentic collection of vintage-themed gear. Created for gearheads, riders, and racers, Fast Eddie truly encompasses the great Canadian racing culture we have from coast to coast. Drive hard, get dirty, and look good doing it. Fast Eddie Speedwear. Get geared up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on G-Force TV.
You're so tasty. Drive me crazy. Crazy, crazy. Ain't nothing I can do.
early man discovered fire, but Quick Quick perfected fire. Quick Quick is the only fire starter that guarantees to start your campfire, wood stove, or fireplace without the need for kindling or paper. Find your nearest Quick Quick retailer at quickquick.com.
Nitro 54 Variety presents the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals here at Ohsweken Speedway. Greg Kelman along with Adam Ross, Tommy Googe, and Clinton Jeffrey bringing you the action. There's the leader of this Crate Sprint Car main event. Halfway home, 15 laps left to go. Darren Dryden, winningest driver in Crate Sprints this year here at the Big O. And for him, it was win or some sort of issue. At least it seemed that way. I know that's not exactly how it came out, but he would dominate or he'd be upside down, and that cost him a championship this year.
No, it absolutely did. Lucas Smith was a deserving champion for sure. It just seemed that he was always getting the most out of that race car, always getting to the finish. And as you said, that's where Darren Dryden fell short just a little bit, was nights that he didn't quite make it to the end. But speed was never an issue for that 12 Double D.
No, he's had it figured out this year, and I know he gives a lot of credit to Steve Gary. Tommy, I believe Steve Gary, that's the same one that used to race 360 sprints in this area, so a lot of knowledge there in that team.
Steve Gary raced Ontario Speedway mini sprints 25 years ago. He dabbled in the Canadian Vintage Modifieds, 360 sprint cars.
He had one of the nicest looking 360 sprint cars that we had here back when he was running too. He always kept that car very clean and nice looking.
How about Lucas Smith being pushed back off? They've made repairs in the work area. He's a couple laps down. He's 2 laps behind the leaders. But there is no quit in that 49L team.
Track has not slowed down much. Quick time in time trials earlier was a 14.84, and the quickest lap in this race, Jacob Dykstra, 15.15. So definitely still lots of tack left in this track, and it has definitely come back. It was slower in the heat races than it is now.
Yeah, 0.3 of a second fall off is really not a fall off at all in the sprint car racing world.
Just trying to sort out a few of the positions deeper in the field, and then we should be able to get back at it with 15 laps left to go. Again, tomorrow night, this division will be back on the card with another big payday, but it will be the 18th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals for the 360 teams. $10,000 to the winner tomorrow night. And Jordan Thomas, I think, turned some heads tonight in that he made a statement that he's here to win the big bucks, and he was in contention for it back in August, but it was really the Paulie Giovanni show back in August. So I think Jordan Thomas just made Paulie, I think, say, hey, there's another guy in town I'm definitely going to have to compete with to take that big check.
Yeah, and Jordan is always quick every time he comes here at Ohsweken. I'm sort of surprised that he hasn't gotten one done, frankly. A Nationals win, that is. He's been close. He was on the podium in 2019, so we know he's fast. Just hasn't always had the luck go his way.
White flag out. We'll try it again. The back half of this race, still lots could happen. It's not inconceivable that someone outside of right now the top 3 or top 5 could make their way up. With this amount of laps and the way the track is, you get the right line, you could move to the front.
I want to give a tip of the hat to the driver of the 97. Who would have thought early this season he'd be running in the top 10? But Alan Downey in the 19, he's come through the field a little bit. Didn't have a great heat race, but he's moving in the right direction in this feature.
Movers and shakers, and that's the fun part of the longer races as we're back at it. Mike Bowman got a great run through corner 2. He's right there.
Bowman tries to sling it around the outside. Can't get it done that time as Dryden drives up to the wall on the front stretch. Bowman going to again try it in turn number 2. but really 3 and 4 is where he gets his better runs.
Dale Curran got out of shape just ahead of Alan Downey that last time off of turn number 2. That cost Downey some ground. Sheldon Bender going to put the pressure back on, try to make a move on that 19, but up front continues to be the 71 of Mike Bowman giving chase, but the 12 Double D up to the task. Here goes Bowman looking to the inside.
Bowman looks low, wheel to wheel through 1 and 2. Dryden's got the better run off of corner 2. He'll tuck back in front of Mike Bowman. Steve Murdock was able to get by Jacob Dykstra, so that 2M that was quick early won the heat, won the pole dash. He's turning up the wick now and closing in on the top 2.
Bowman tried to go to the inside of Dryden there in corner 2. That didn't work. And now we got a car up high in turn 3. The yellow will come out once again.
Might be Seth Roy, but I'm...
Look, I'm on TV.
Yeah, it is the 16 of Roy, guys. Maybe he just wanted to look at the G-Force TV screen tonight.
Well, he's up close and personal.
Well, Doug...
I shouldn't talk while I'm yawning. Yes.
Wow.
I try to power through, Greg.
We'll have a team meeting about that later, guys.
Adam will be asleep for it, so it doesn't matter.
Well, his trailer's right beside mine, so he'll have to listen to what I have to say.
No, you know what? It's gonna stay empty tonight, Clint. I gotta go home.
Oh boy.
Oh, good. You'll be driving on the roads with me. That's great.
Hey, I'm not going to bring it up on air, but you got to ask Stratford to tell his Adam Ross story from 20 years ago. Adam denies it, but Brett's got a good one about falling asleep at a red light.
It's close to 30 years ago.
Well, hey, guys, the question is, can Mike Bowman get around Dryden? I mean, he's tried every single way he can. Now, Bowman would like this track to be a little bit slicker. There's still tons of tack in this track. It's a classic Ohsweken late season, you know, where as the sun goes down, the moisture comes back. It's tacky out there. Mike would really like a better, slicker track for him. And one thing he talked about in his first race here, he wouldn't get off the bottom. And he said, I really got to learn to drive the top and be more comfortable up there. He's taking those swings tonight, guys.
And Tommy, you were talking about quick laps. That last green flag run, look at the top 2 drivers, what's happened.
They've sped up. The lap times are getting quicker as we go. They keep this up, they're going to be quicker than time trials.
Yeah. Mike Bowman, 15:07.5 now. And Darren Dryden, 15:130. So both moved ahead of that quick lap that Dykstra had put down back on lap 5. So speed's not falling off at all.
Think Dykstra will make, or Dryden will make weight, guys? That was a potty joke. It was a bad one.
That was good.
Not if I had to explain it, it wasn't a good one.
It's been a while since he went. He's probably got to go again by now. I bet you right now,
off the rails.
He's not regretting being caught going to the portage on after this long.
Who's who's embarrassed now?
It's the 3 of us who need to go now.
Exactly.
11 laps to go. It's been a wild one so far. Chalk line is down. Or no, it's not. Cone's out. What am I talking about? I'm starting to have an Adam night.
Yep, have it gone.
Keep an eye on that 2M of Murdock. He was making hay in that last restart.
Here we go. Single file past the restart. Cone 11 laps left to settle it. Dryden gets a good launch off the corner. Bowman will give chase down low in 1. Here comes Murdock on the outside.
Whoa, trouble in turn number 2.
No. Well, they stay upright, and Leadhill actually kept the engine running, but yellow is out for Staley.
What a move by Steve Murdock in that 2M. Boy, tough race here tonight for these crate sprint cars. We see some phenomenal racing week in and week out as Adrian Staley is out of that 50 machine having a look at the damage.
Yeah, it's been one of those nights because on a regular Friday night, it would be nothing to expect a green to checkered finish and a regular 20-lap feature, but tonight has just been not the case, and that happens.
So to go back to going home tonight, Angie works tomorrow, but even if she didn't, she can't even help Connor get up off the couch or up out of bed. It's he's pretty immobile.
Depends. Would solve all your problems.
Right.
How does he go to the washroom? Depends.
Boy, he's on fire tonight.
Adrian Staley, we should be joking now. You can see the wing tore up here, guys. Also, look at that rim. It is folded up around itself like I've not seen in a while. So not sure what he hit there, but, you know. Adrian, are you okay? That's the main question here in turn number 2.
Yeah, I'm good. Just people, when they spin out, they got to learn to lock it up and not try and go in 3.
So there you hear it. Obviously, he got caught up in someone's 360 where they tried to keep going. And was it the Gledhill car? Because Eric Gledhill drove back to the pits, and he's done for the night.
It was, and rather than a 360, he got about 270 degrees around and then straight up the racetrack. Yeah. And we get what he's trying to do. You're trying to keep that car running. It is a skill, though, to get it all the way around, because Adrian Staley going 3-4 lanes up the track to avoid, and it's not enough when a car's driving straight up the track at you.
So disappointing end of the night for Adrian Staley. Eric Gledhill went to the pit area. Now he's had all this time. If he's able to get things fixed, he may yet return.
Boy, much different than the last crate race we had here at Ohsweken. The last time I was here on the Friday of Labor Day weekend, 20 laps green to checkered with 28 cars. And sometimes it's just not the... Sometimes you get that, and sometimes you get this.
You know, I can't remember who I think it was talking to you, Tommy, earlier on. I have really enjoyed the racetrack this year. There's been a lot of dry slick. And when you get that dry slick, we've seen a couple of times cars start to bounce. The reason they bounce is because there's too much bite in the racetrack, so the rubber digs into the track, and as you start to bounce, bad things can happen. On dry slick, there's a lot more sliding around.
Yeah.
And it's not as explosive a reaction when cars touch each other or get out of shape on the racetrack.
Yeah, although I also wonder if the nerves got the better of some guys tonight.
That's definitely possible. It's a big payday. It's a big event. They know it's their last chance to really shine until next May. We do go to Humberstone in a couple of weeks. Like, there are more races, but this is a big deal. This is the home for crate sprint car racing. It's the home for sprint car racing in Ontario. This is where the drivers want to perform.
You know you got a pretty car when you can see reflections of blue everywhere you go. Darren Dryden, look at that.
That's pretty wild.
Nice job he does decorating that car, and here he goes looking for the big payday off a corner 4. Green flag in the air. We'll try it again with 11 laps to go.
Steve Murdock got a good launch in that number 2. So did the 5D of Jacob Dykstra. Mike Bowman going up to steal a move from the Murdock 2. He runs the high side through 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think some people learned something from Murdock on that last restart, including Jesse Costa, who's gotten the 52 back up into the fight here. Here comes Bowman with a good run out of corner 2.
There he goes down to the inside of the 12 DD of Darren Dryden. Off of 4 they come, and Bowman at the line will be the leader over Dryden, Murdock, Dykstra, and Costa.
Lucas Smith is struggling with the handling on that 49L. He's had a couple of close calls out there, running a couple of laps down. Dryden took a run to the inside in 3 and 4. Couldn't make it stick, but Darren Dryden still all over the 71 of Bowman, as we've got John Verney in turn 3 and 4, just about went over.
Dryden's flirting with that spot right there. He hit it the last time by. Sorry, Tommy, to interject there, but he hit that rut, and that's what caused him to bobble, but he keeps going back to that line.
Yeah, this time he got around the outside of that rut and made a much better run. This time he moves up another lane, but Bowman's still staying strong out front right now.
If I'm Darren Dryden, I want Bowman to get to lap traffic. I think Darren Dryden is a little bit more versatile out there. I think he's got a couple more lines that he can run in that 12 double D.
Lee Lattiser caught that rut. He had just passed Jesse Costa, and it juked the car completely sideways to the right. He gathered it back up, but he loses the spot back to Jesse Costa. And I was just about to mention, how about Sheldon Bender? He's moved up even further. He's having a great battle, and now he catches the rut off of 4.
Wow, what a ride for Sheldon Bender. Loses that spot to Alan Downey, but keeps his race car on 4 wheels.
So 4 laps left to go now. Bowman's still up front. 3 laps make it now as Dryden tries to make another run, and Bowman's going to have to make a decision here with Seth Roy running in his line.
Here they come, and Bowman hit the rut in 4. Caution flag comes out. We got one around the high side of corner number 2, and that's the 26 machine. Is that Verney?
I believe that's John Verney.
Wow. As the intensity ratchets up here in the closing laps, drivers are getting closer and closer to that spot they're in 4, and we've seen a few have some pretty close calls, some mighty white moments.
I think some of them don't know that that's there, and they're finding out under green while they're trying to make a move, and it's really catching them out.
The leader, Mike Bowman, hit it last time by. Lee Lattiser had the same experience.
I mean, the track is almost pool table smooth except for that spot down there, so it's even, it's not like there's a few spots to watch out there for. They're not really expecting anything to be there, and then all of a sudden it jumps out at them.
We talked about turtle backs. That's a snapping turtle right there, waiting to jump and bite up your right front. Man, Bowman hit that a ton. Greg, you called it. As he's trying to work his way around lap cars. I think the smart move for Bowman was to stick it on the bottom. If you know, each time he comes up to a lap car, he tends to go right down to the rail and trying to make Darren go around the outside.
So it's going to be a 3-lap dash to the finish. And Darren Dryden has moments of brilliance. That car just rips the middle lane through 1 and 2. Can he find a way to get around Mike Bowman? Bowman has been so good here, especially in special events. But nobody has been better week after week after week than Darren Dryden in the 12 Double D.
Murdock continues to be up there in that 3rd spot, holding off Jacob Dykstra. Jesse Costa's been kind of lurking there in the top 5. Lee Lattiser had gotten by him before he got eaten up by that corner 4 bump. Sheldon Bender still with a great run up inside the top 10. Best race he's had so far in this division. Good to see here tonight. Back to the green.
Darren Dryden trying to time things on that restart. Bowman goes to the bottom, washes up the racetrack, but Darren Dryden did as well. Look at Murdock and Dykstra close in.
One slow down the front stretch. Lance Erskine will hopefully be able to make it to the pits. Here comes Murdock now challenging for the 2nd spot on Dryden.
Murdock trying to get it done, couldn't do it that time, and now Bowman has squirted away from the rest of the field briefly, but this one's not over yet. White flag in the air.
One more time around for Mike Bowman. He heads to the high side in 1 and 2. Darren Dryden about 6 car lengths back, Greg.
Here he comes through 3 and 4. Bowman up high. Dryden digs down low through 3 and 4, but the double checkers out. Bowman gets the win in the inaugural running of the Canadian Crate Nationals.
They're mixing it up further back. Bardier and Gledhill making contact. Jonah Mutton heads for the infield on the final lap. We saw a little bit of everything in that race. It was a tough one to get to the end of, but Mike Bowman, as dominant as he was last time we ran the Sprint Car Nationals here in the summer, he had to work hard for this one. It was a hotly contested battle.
Mike Bowman wins over Darren Dryden. Steve Murdock 3rd, Jacob Dykstra 4th, Jesse Costa comes home 5th, Dale Curran 6th, Lee Lattiser 7th, 8th goes to Alan Downey, 9th Darrell Pelche, and Sheldon Bender holds on for a nice top 10 finish. The Iceman Johnny Miller 11th, 12th Rob Neely, 13th Ashton Van Every, Lucas Smith 14th, Matthew Bardier 15th, Larry Gledhill 16th, 17th goes to Seth Roy, 18th Ryan Fraser, 19th Trevor Young, and 20th will go to John Verney. Jonah Mutton Lance Erskine, Eric Gledhill, Adrian Staley, and Tyler Powless are positions 21 through 25. And then 26th on back, Curtis Gartley, Brian Nanticoke, Connor Mahoney, Matt Billings, and Tyler Ward. As we'll wait for the winner, Mike Bowman, to cross the scales and make it down to Quick Fire Starter Victory Lane, where our Clinton Jeffrey will catch up with Mike, along with runner-up Darren Dryden and Steve Murdock in the third spot. He had a fantastic night. The heat race win, the pole dash win, and a spot on the podium here tonight. So a big evening for the driver of the 2M machine. As we look overhead, folks, don't forget tomorrow night, the 18th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, brought to you by Nitro 54 Variety, Aero Express, and our good friends at the Burger Barn. As there's the winner, being celebrated by Lone Wolf Fireworks, thanks to Dynamite Dave, Tim Jamieson, and crew, lighting up the sky. What a spectacle, as Mike Bowman picks up the biggest payday in the biggest race ever for the Crate Sprint Car Division. And Mike will park it down on the pad in front of our Clinton Jeffrey down a Quick Fire Starter Victory Lane. He had that Seaway Fluid Power number 71 hooked up tonight. What a great battle with Darren Dryden. Let's send it down to Victory Lane in our Clinton Jeffrey.
Mike Bowman climbs out here out of the 71 Seaway Fluid Power Group Dynablast Ryko. Saint Amant 71, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Your first ever Canadian Crate Nationals Speed Car winner, and it's Mike Bowman. Oh, man. Well, you burning the modifieds now, Mike, or what? What a drive tonight.
Yeah, I had to work Darren pretty hard there, and, you know, I got by there early, the yellow come out. Got by again, the yellow come out. So it was a pretty tough one. I feel like I showed him my hand, and he was able to make some adjustments there to make life tougher for me. But that's Darren doing his job. He's a great race car driver, and congrats to him on a hell of a run tonight.
Mike, let's talk about this. You're new to crates only this year. You talked to us in one of your first races here. You finished second. You said, I got to learn to run the top and balls up. Tonight you did it.
Yeah, I took a few notes last Friday. It was pretty balls out here in the modified, so I used a little bit of that, especially getting into turn 3. It was pretty narrow up there.
Good job, Mike. Anybody else you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank all my guys, Georgie, Liam, Pauly, Ryko, Seaway Fluid Power, Dynablast, St. Amant Auto and Truck, IRP Max Hose, and Douglas Hydraulic Manufacturing. Been behind me all year, and we couldn't do it without any of them.
One more important question. You taking the motor or you taking the cash tonight?
I got to take the motor.
That means you're sticking around. Mike Bowman wins a brand new crate motor value of about $11,000. He also picks up a brand new fire suit from our friends at Epic Racewear, and we'll get the championship trophy in there. Darren, you were in this fight all day. I mean, you know, Mike got in front. The yellow came out, helped you. In the end, you finished second. A little bit disappointed, obviously, but still a solid day, considering the horrible luck you did have for half your season.
Yeah, honestly, this is definitely a great run for us to show our speed here with Bowman and to show we had enough to race with him, but at the end we just tightened up too much and he was getting better. I was honestly hoping, this was one of those days I was hoping for lap traffic, and those cautions were killing me. I honestly felt really good in the lap traffic today, but yeah, he just missed it, and I got to thank our team of my father, all the work he does, Steve Gary as well. Just, yeah, phenomenal night for us.
Good job, Darren Dryden, second here in the inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals. Let's get over here and talk to Steve Murdock. Steve, on paper, you might not have been one of the guys that we were focusing on, but at the end, you showed a lot of speed. You made some good runs to the outside and nearly got one here tonight.
No, I was surprised, too. It was a good start to the night and a decent finish, but turned out all right.
Running really good out here. You got real proud of yourself.
Yeah, it's going all right.
All right, there's Steve Murdock, our third-place finisher, our second-place runner, Darren Dryden, and your inaugural Canadian Crate Nationals winner, Mike Bowman. We'll get over here with Tommy with a couple more awards.
Thank you, Clinton. We got our Nitro 54 Variety Hard Charger Award to give out. Started tail on the field, gained 17 spots. The Beast, Aston Van Ivry, gets that one done. And that was a bit of a battle of survival for you.
Oh, yeah, like I kind of got tight near the end, but I just moved my wing forward, and I can't thank my guys enough. My dad, Barry Guy, Ryan Turner helps a lot on this car, too. It's awesome to be up here in front of the fans, finally near the podium, but we had a good run.
There is this Ashton Van Every. He's your Nitro 54 Variety Hard Charger here tonight.
That's great, Adam, isn't it? That's
it's what it's about. It's
exactly.
Ashton Van Every, great young man. You don't necessarily look and think that's what a sprint car driver looks like, but boy, oh boy, behind the wheel, he gets the job done, and I think we'll see a lot more of him as time goes on. We do need to report the 5D of Jacob Dykstra was light at the scales. So Jacob Dykstra, over 7 pounds, will lose his finishing spot. So did we do a 50-50 draw tonight, Greg?
I think they're going to. So we'll wrap things up on GeForce TV, but we'll make sure Spencer leaves our mics on so we can get that 50-50 in for our live crowd. But we'll wrap things up here on GeForce TV. Don't forget to be back tomorrow night for the 18th running of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. On behalf of the Steyers family, all our staff and officials, and on behalf of Clinton Jeffrey, Tommy Googe, Adam Ross, I'm Greg Kelman saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow night right here on GeForce TV.
All right, get out your 50-50 tickets. You're winning.
Copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of GeForce TV. GeForce TV would like to thank you for your support and for watching today's broadcast.